Coming off a fourth straight session of declines for U.S. equities, North American stock futures back in positive territory this morning, pointing to a slightly higher open. We're up about 0.4% for the S&P at the moment. Yesterday, the Dow was down 150 points. We had the S&P off about 0.5%. The NASDAQ ending the day down about 0.25%. Even with some of this weakness that we've seen throughout the week, this week, we're still only between 1 and 2%, depending on the market, off all-time highs, guys. So we have to consider where we have come from. The market in a bit of a wait-and-see mode ahead of the next Federal Reserve meeting, looking for clarification on when we could see some tapering from the Fed. The next two-day meeting for the central bank will kick off September 21st. Keep that in mind as well. We are looking at Affirm shares. Big move, both aftermarket yesterday and in the pre-market here after a better than expected report for AFRM. Some Chinese stocks moving around as well. Yeah, regulators are discussing things over in China. Once again, we'll talk about Alibaba and Didi here in the pre-market. It's Friday, September 10th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at some positive numbers, which is nice for a change. Past couple of days, we've seen some red right across this entire board. So there we go. Yeah, about 0.5% now for all three U.S. markets. TSX futures here in Toronto back in positive territory. Brazil open already, trading higher with crude to the upside today. Cryptos, yeah, not doing a heck of a lot. They are negative to start things off, but only just. Yeah, 1.6% is only just when we're talking about cryptos. Hey guys, Neil's back after a day off yesterday. It was the first day of school here in the greater Toronto area. So all was well. Neil, good to have you back.
It's good to be back, and definitely glad to step in the chair. I know things went pretty well there with Arun, of course, because as it always does. I almost cried dropping my daughter off to school. I was like, the tears were welling up, but it was so much, I was telling Sean, it was so much chaos when I got there that quickly you don't think about anything else, and she was fantastic. Good to be back on the horse, though, watching some movers here. I mean, if you could have told me that we'd come in today and Affirm would be at like 112.
Well, the funny thing is, Neil, I did tell people that.
What's hilarious? I know I'm being flippant about it. We actually talked about the implied earnings before I left on Affirm. I love this company. It's an absolute banger of report. Probably there's certainly a little bit of I guess volatility and high flyer status and maybe a little bit of risk going into it today, but I absolutely love the company in the long term, and what a blowout report they've had. You even have like a company like Dave & Buster's, which not normally on the radar, up 10%. So the market's not allowed to be down every single day of the week. At least that's what I've been told, and that means we have to go up today.
Almost, yeah. I mean, it's only 0.45, so we'll see if it can hold it. But yeah, it's been it's funny because we did that video on the September effect, and it's the worst month. Down 0.8 historically on the Dow, then 0.5 on the S&P and the NASDAQ, or 0.4. So yeah, that's a good one. I hope all of you enjoyed the football game last night. Super exciting. Nice to see the season get kicked off properly. And we kid about that Affirm, but we did talk about it yesterday. I said 91.50 is a buy. You guys are watching that at about 350 or whatever before the computer blew up on me. We did talk about that. I want to give a big shout out to Rob as well for hooking up with new Rams. So hopefully today we don't have what happened yesterday.
Better not.
At the close. Neil, you have no idea what was happening. I was sitting here talking. I was talking about crypto, and then I tried to bring over a chart, and then everything completely went black and froze, and it was fun, but it was annoying. But today we got more Rams. We're ready to rock and roll. And yeah, I didn't think Affirm would be up 23%, but we did talk about it with Amazon. I mean, it's not the story is what it is. I mean, we all know about it, but that was a good call on the blowout, and we'll see if it can get going today as we need some action here with only an hour left before the market opens. Don't get into too many pre-market positions, but it's Friday, and it should be a good one.
Absolutely. I see you over there, Brendan, waiting. See
what you did there, Neil? I see. ISEE, another one that we're going to talk about coming up here. Affirm, just impressive right across the board. We'll talk about Affirm obviously coming up. We'll talk about some of these small caps coming up, including this Endo, ENDP, another one moving, Bumble, BMBL to the downside. on a upsized offering. So we'll talk about Bumble a little bit as well. Before we go any further, let's get over to say good morning to Miss V.
Good morning and happy Trading Friday to you all. Guys, have a wonderful day, enjoy the show, and don't forget to like this video. Let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started, guys. I want to talk about the overall market here to kick things off because, yeah, we are back to the upside about 0.5% as we saw for all three U.S. indexes. So did you buy the dip? Because I wonder if that was the dip here, guys. We've had 20% move, 20+% move on the overall market this year, yet to log during that period a 5% or more pullback. So was that the dip?
You can't even. Can we even call that a dip?
What dip?
What dip?
4 days,
Dip?
Sean. We had 4 days.
Yeah, but look at the actual move
up here, and I mean, okay, so just come over to my screen right. I mean, I have the cues.
It's not.
So dip. Okay, I'm not seeing.
It's like a consolidation.
Dip. I'm not seeing said dip. I
Looks
mean,
like
I'm seeing a little bit of a dip here. And then we have a little bit of consolidation. Oh, you know what? Actually, stick with me for a second here. I know this won't take too long. I actually tweeted something out that was really hilarious yesterday. I thought it was, anyways. And I don't know if you saw this, Neil, but look at this. So how true is this? Right? Stock traders minus 2%. Oh my God, oh my God. Crypto traders like hold my beer or whatever that is, happens to be their glass of
Probably
wine.
brandy.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, this is part of what we're talking about. And that's actually, we didn't set this segue up there. But,
I had no idea what
you know, I just don't think there was much of a dip there. And I do know what you're saying. And I think the real dip could be coming, right? There's no doubt about that. There's still inflation talk. They're still printing money. And then once the Fed finally does ease, where will we go from there? Are the earnings there to support some of these stocks? I'm going to say yes. I mean, as many of these mega cap tech companies keep on climbing, I mean, Apple basically, I mean, it's off its 52-week high, but we're right there. 154, and now 155. Its high is 157. So, I mean, there's not a dip there. Microsoft as well, back to still 300, high 305. So we're still around, and I just think that the earnings do support some of these big valuations right now. And I mean, if you're going to be worried about any kind of names, Brendan and Neil, I think you got to be worried about, you know, those ones like, honestly, like Affirm's back now, they have a deal, but some of those new IPOs, we'll talk about some of them today. I know Root is moving again, but even a Palantir or a DraftKings or some of these stocks that have been going up and that are, you know, kind of high flyers sometimes, those are the ones to be worried about, maybe a Roku, things like that. But I mean, as far as some of these other companies, the price earnings is fine. And I'm not super worried about a lot of these names.
Yeah, the reality is you've seen in this market, like basically whatever you think the correction is going to be, well, forget, I can't even say the word correction. Whatever you think the pullback is going to be, it tends to be like a small fraction of that, at least on the shorter term basis. Like something's going to have to happen. Maybe it's going to be, the tapering or whatnot. Because you know, ultimately, I think a 5% correction would be pretty healthy. And I'm not just saying that because you know it's always nice to be able to get things at a value. I just think it could be a little bit healthy. Now, things that are there are some stocks that I was sort of looking around like Caterpillar and John Deere or whatever when you come to the industrials, which have been, I guess, even they're consolidating and they're off highs, but you look at the last week and it's like the ones that have been weak off the top or the sectors that have been weak off from their highs, they're also consolidating this week. It's not like it's outsized moves into the downside here on them as well. As a matter of fact, let's look at this chart. It looks pretty good. Deere looks a little bit better, but now, I'm not terribly worried about it. I think there's going to be an opportunity when you get a little bit of a pullback. But when it does happen, there's been some squeezing going on, right? So you've seen it with some of the squeeze stocks coming back into vogue, and you've seen it with some of these former SPACs that have been driven up on low float. If we get a 5% move in the overall market, I would worry about definitely some of those there. And there could be some still opportunities left, as some of those are still at the bottom, but you know, it's those higher valuation, zero revenue and sometimes zero profit names that you have to be a little more concerned about, as Sean said.
Yeah, it's impressive to see the relative strength there between tech stocks and the S&P 500. This one, guys, a little more obvious. There's the S&P. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're back higher again today. So that was the dip I was referring to. But yeah, we can see what is actually leading the market there when you look at the NASDAQ and the tech stocks overall. A few other things to touch on this morning. We had Kroger, guys, out a little bit late with their report this morning. If you remember going back to last week, KR got to all-time highs, and then reports this morning we're down a bit, not a heck of a lot, but Kroger, guys, still a strong stock in a strong market. Earnings not so great, but what do we think here of KR this morning?
This is probably going on a limb. It's not a day trade because Kroger never. Well, it never is. And of course, now my daily charts were doing so good this morning. And of course,
that's a nice story.
They decided to fail me there. This is not going to work. But you actually look at Sean's is up here. Kroger, in terms of stocks that are actually dipping off of highs, we'll just analyze off of what Sean's chart is. Anytime you make a double top going to earnings and you disappoint, I usually expect follow through at least until the next support level down, which looks like it's been broken right in there off the 50 period. So I would anticipate you have a shot to get into that price only because of that double top, right? And that's the thing you got to look at. And then you come back in, and if this was actually on volume this morning, I'd probably be looking at this 44 level and say, okay, well, what happened here down at 44? You get the gap down. It's based out of here a couple of times. It's done 100,000 shares, maybe a little bit more than that. So it's not like there's any really level here actionable off of 44 outside of the fact that it's a bit of a round number. For down 4%, it's not usually necessarily the most volatile stock in the world. I would anticipate a little bit more weakness going into it. That said, the market is pretty strong today. I'll be staying away from this because there are a wealth of movers. You mentioned Endo. I'm already eyeballing that one. IC, I thought there'd be a dip buy into 1320. It looked like AMC was going to break a 49.50 area. Like, there's so much happening in the movers that I think for something like this, if you're in Kroger and you're like, where am I looking to pick up more shares, I would just give it a couple of days. It's probably going to be a better buying opportunity.
I just want SOS right now. Shout out to Shakib, I guess. Yeah, he's always talking about SOS. Right now, people are saying it's earnings, but I mean, I don't know. They came out with earnings like at 8:30, I guess, maybe. SOS off to the races right now. I'm not going to be looking at Kroger too much for some of those reasons, like Neil was mentioning. But I did want to give a big shout out to Manny. What up, Manny? It's his birthday. So whenever it's your birthday, you're going to get a shout out, and we'll pop some confetti for you. Happy birthday, Manny. May all your trades today be profitable ones. SOS right now. What is that level right there? That's 340. So we could take that out. We'll wait to see. I mean, Brendan's a busy guy, but we'll find out about SOS earnings. Or
305, you mean?
If that's what that was.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, 305 is the high, but it's this level here on the daily. 335 maybe. But again, remember, these are Bitcoin, it's mining, it's data, it's stuff like that. So we're going to wait to see if that's a fade downside now, but that's a nice move up there, up to that 305 level for SOS.
Yeah, right when we came on there, guys, they looks like they reported 6-month interim financial results. So I'll have a look at that. Just wanted to talk a little bit about Chinese stocks on the watch list this morning for other reasons. But Take-Two Interactive, if you remember going back to July, I think it was, maybe beginning of August, China came out and said they were clamping down on some of the video game makers and also how much time kids were going to be allowed to spend on said video games. This has nothing to do with that. But Take-Two Interactive, downside today, Grand Theft Auto 5 being delayed. TTWO, guys. Not a lot of volume here either, but another name that we've looked at recently under pressure here this morning.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. I mean, how big is that for their franchise? I mean,
not a great looking chart.
That's a huge one. But yeah, under pressure. The 1 minute chart today down to 154, so it's not really doing too much today, down 1.5%. And we're only on 12,000 volume, so it's not a huge volume spike here. But as you can see, the chart on Take-Two, not great. Like, I'm not a huge video game guy anymore. Well, I was never really. Just into, well, you guys know the games, WrestleFest, Street Fighter. We actually talked about that this past weekend at our draft. We were talking about all the old convenience stores and arcades and things that we used to go to. And we used to talk about, I mean, neither of us, thank God, I mean, it's up to your own personal choice, but didn't smoke. But they used to put the little cigarette butts on the top of the arcade games as people used to play. And I remember that, like, going into these arcades was, in hindsight, maybe it was a little bit dangerous because they were like pool halls and stuff like that. We were going in there like in grade 7 and grade 8. Whatever, I don't care.
What pool hall? I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, what's up to my mom if you're watching? Well, she knows about that anyway. Shoppers World in Brampton.
We weren't supposed to go to that. Anyways, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well.
I wasn't allowed to go to it.
Oh, you weren't allowed? Oh, okay.
Technically, I wasn't allowed.
So Neil, I didn't see Neil there.
I was never there.
Okay, so the other point was about Take-Two is just that if you're going to miss on and again, it's delayed, I guess. It will eventually come out, I assume, Grand Theft Auto 5. But the thing is that, you know, you're right at these levels right now, 154. So if you could break below this on the daily chart, we may just, I don't want to say 100, but things tend to levitate to certain numbers. So, and in this way, go the other way, not levitate, but go to the downside here down to $100. So we're going to break this 150, and that's the number that I have to watch out for. If I was long take two, I'd probably get out at least half if we did break through 150. But for me, again, only 13,000 shares.
Yeah, I mean, there's no day trades. I would just say the same thing. It's not the best looking chart if that level doesn't hold, right? But if it does hold and you get a break back upside of 165, fair enough. Could be a buying opportunity because it'll eventually come out. But, you know, I'd be sitting this one out today.
You don't want to play these games with the Chinese regulators and things like that. I mean, we've seen what happened to Baba, Baidu, JD, DD, all these names. They're all getting crushed. So, I mean, why step in the way? I think it's a smart move to wait till it breaks that 50 period at 165.
All right, just a highlight here, guys, for this SOS. I can show you real quick some numbers. 185 million gross profit, 17 million. Margins 10 times to the upside, 9% overall. So positive, yeah, for SOS. Keep in mind that's crypto related as well. I wanted to mention that EFTR. We're going to talk about some of these squeeze stocks. I mean, AMC we can talk about as well, moving around here in the pre-market. But EFTR, Effector Therapeutics, another one that's been going crazy this week. Higher short interest, lower float. I just saw it just popping up here, guys, on a volume scanner once again. I mean, it's only about 300,000 shares in the pre-market, but 12% here again today for this EFTR.
So it just, look, it spiked a couple of days ago, then yesterday did a similar move, I guess, basically right here at the open, it looks like, and then failed at a lower high, which is about 37. Interestingly enough, it's always funny how this happens. Like the first short, which always seems random when I look back on the chart, that I tried shorting this, ends up actually being resistance. A lot of times that's because there was an actual seller here that I was trying to join in with, and then it loses, and then eventually you get that top. And then the next day when it puts in a lower high, nothing that stands out necessarily on the higher time frame, but still holds that same price. Now I just probably look back into around 32, where you can see this big drop off and then afternoon resistance. If it gets to that particular price, it piques my interest, but it already spiked. You know, it already spiked and came back down. So I kind of feel like that move has already happened, and it didn't even get close to it. So that shows me a lot of weakness when the stock comes in. People are just going to take advantage of every single pop. That's what I would look to do on EFTR. It's worth noting because anytime one of these runners is there, you know, there's some momentum that can happen. But you quickly always look back to what those key levels are going to be. And yeah, when the lower highs start coming in those parabolic movers, you know, the sellers are in control above those certain prices, and I feel like, you know, that 32 would have been it. That's why it's made that turn. I'd actually be a little bit surprised if it got back to the high at this point.
Yeah, yesterday EFTR was $3 per share to short, so we didn't trade that too much yesterday.
Obviously,
and of course, you know when Arun is here.
Yeah,
I mean,
$3.
He went on a little bit of a well, actually he didn't go on too much of a rant yesterday, but that's the principles there about paying for shorts. Yeah, so someone said happy birthday to Neil, but I don't know if they don't mean you. It's not Neil's birthday today. But the other point was
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it too. I mean, birthday every day. Why not? It's GTA 5 for the PS5. So people are like GTA 6, but no, it's GTA 5 for the PS5. And someone said I'm still playing Atari. No, I'm still playing ColecoVision. So how about that one? That was one of the very first systems that I owned, and then I remember going crazy when we first got our first Nintendo as well with Duck Hunt. I mean, how good a game is Duck Hunt when you think back on it? I mean, actually, when you think back on it, it was a pretty bad game. But when we were growing up, it was really super fun.
Walk up right to the screen and just cheat.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you were like 5 or 6 years old, and you literally you were given a gun to start pointing at the screen.
That's
so
right.
That was pretty hype for that one. But Brendan, did you ever play ColecoVision?
I have no idea what that is. Surprised.
Yeah, I know Rob knows.
I'm not surprised.
How do you not know what ColecoVision is? Okay, we'll just move on. But Brendan, I guess are you? Actually, I don't even know. Were you a big video game guy?
I never was. No, I was. I grew up with 2 teachers as parents, so I was always outside being forced to do things that weren't necessarily of my choice on the sporting front. But hey, I digress.
Yeah,
let's talk about
the right way.
Getting out of hand here.
Let's talk about some Chinese stocks here. Just reading an article, guys, about our friend Kathy Wood and ARK Invest apparently selling more Tesla this week, reducing her exposure to Chinese-related stocks in general. So another $100 million coming off the books for Kathy Wood on the Tesla side of things. Tesla higher, worth noting, in the pre-market here, about 0.8% for other reasons. We'll talk about that. But in general, I mean, Cathie Wood getting rid of more Chinese exposure, guys.
Happy birthday, Neil.
Why is everyone saying happy birthday? I saw happy birthday to you in there, by the way.
Oh, did you? I'm just reading through the things. Happy birthday, Manny, again.
Oh, boy.
No,
So-
that's whose birthday it is. Oh, Asteroids, a good one. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Asteroids was a
I'm
great
just reading
game,
through
but
the chat now. It's Friday.
I kind of feel like when you come with these Chinese names, like everyone's just trying to to let you know that they don't understand what's going to be going on in terms of pricing the risk in them, and I tend to agree. Like, it's just when you don't know how to price risk, it's difficult to make. Why is this still on Tesla? Oh, because it's about to freeze. You don't really know exactly like what kind of a premium to put on these things. You can look at valuations, and I usually like that metric for when something is ridiculously undervalued relative to its peers. I've said that for Alibaba, but look at like the swings this thing has been making. Like, I wasn't here yesterday. Obviously, you guys obviously know that, but we just went 180 in a couple of days and a 10% retracement. Now we're gapping up like half of that. It's a couple of percent to the upside, and we're going to talk about the Chinese stocks with some positivity. And it just kind of feels like you're floating from headline to headline. So you got to always take a step back. For me, that shot was that 150 to 160 area, and then down to that 130, which is a monster level on the daily chart, and just sort of holding for it, thinking these are shot play at this point. Now, you can't really, I don't think you can guess at who has this right as to whether or not you want to be invested at all, whether you want to be trimming, whether this is a ridiculous buying opportunity. I tend to see that some of these companies just have businesses that are entirely too good to ignore, and they've been beaten up so far that I think there's an opportunity if Cathie Wood doesn't like them. Hey man, she's been right more than a lot of people who might say otherwise. I'm not getting out of the BOVA that I hold. Not looking to maybe add anything, and I even think DD's going to be a trade today. By the way, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, I wrote down here on the sheet here about BOVA that today they're meeting with regulators, and we'll just see. I think that's going to be a positive note, and I really do. Oops, that's still take two chart. And I really do like that 172 break. So that will come through here. I mean, Neil just talked about a few things. I like to take out the high of the day, and then if you look at a longer time frame here, I did short SOS. Now 2 pennies in the money. We'll see if it can come all the way back. This is that 172 level right here. We stopped there on the 3rd, and we are dancing around there again on the bottoms of the 2nd, and we broke through and opened there on the 1st. So this 172 seems to be something here, and we actually opened up on the 8th at 172.20 and then tanked down. So we'll see if it can hold that level there, and if it does, we like it, and I like it back to about 170 and change. So that's going to be worth $2 or so either way. So we'll watch for a 172 break on Mr. Alibaba because they found Jack Ma. So thank God for that.
Finally.
Still. Upgrades and downgrades for this morning, guys. More notable names on here. Remember Lululemon yesterday. Was pretty impressive. Yep, Affirm on here, Quest Diagnostics and Zscaler, another earnings name we'll talk about. We mentioned Tilray yesterday about this time in the pre-market, under pressure yesterday, not so much today, but price target cut. Nothing else terribly exciting, guys, on the downgrade side.
Everyone's getting a happy birthday here. Lululemon, man. Okay, so like, wait till it already makes the top, and then we'll give that price upgrade. Something already happened in that stock, in case you haven't noticed before. And I always get a little bit worried. I'm just pulling up the 15-minute here because I get a little bit worried when you get these upgrades after you've already had a pullback like this, and then you look at a level like around this, and I'm not whatever. It's 420. Look, man, like this is the 15-minute chart. It spiked up to 430, and then it held 420 yesterday, and that was like a previous resistance point at about like 418 or so. So of course that's a key price. I mean, I don't even know where this keeps coming up, but it just seems to. So 14 to 420 in here on Lulu. Post this update is going to be a big level to be held, and if you can get through this. I mean, this is exactly how you extend like secondary moves, right? Like you allow some consolidation in here, and then you break back towards the high. So I'd almost give this one like a couple of days. You just had the report, but the big key level coming on Lululemon. There's no pre-market volume at all whatsoever, so I don't think there's a trade for me today. If we were getting volume around this level, yeah, sure, we'd be looking to trade it, but with only about the 10,000 shares in volume this early, not much there. But it is a big one here on Lulu if it can hold 18 to 20.
Yeah, so I mean, we talked a little bit about Tilray. Yeah, people saying that I'm short in the pre-market and Neil's not. Yeah, I mean, it's Friday, so weird things can happen. Tilray on
too cold.
Yeah, it's too cold to trade right now. Tilray on a downgrade today. I mean, it still looks like it's up 1%. And I know people are talking about that. I see you, I think it was Daniel there, who's holding the bag on CGC. And I mean, the thing is that everybody's holding the bag basically pretty much on all marijuana plays. I mean, it is what it is. You're down at these levels here. It's going to take, we've already talked about this. If you're holding on to some of these weed plays, it's just going to be news-based and you're going to have to wait. And unfortunately, it's a plant that you get a little small seed and you plant it and it grows the same product that everybody's selling. So, I mean, it's just a matter of time, I believe anyways, until this industry has to somehow merge together. And I mean, you saw it already with Tilray and Afria. And I just think that if you're gonna look at CGC, I mean, it's a cascade to the downside with really nothing but air, and you're gonna have to wait. I mean, it just keeps getting deflated, and I can't even pick a level. I think 18's a good spot to go long, and I don't have that much talk because we've already talked about this a lot on the show, and I think you need the federal approval here, and that way you'll get banks in there, hedge funds, big time money. You'll probably see some more ETFs being developed and things like that. But right now, I mean, if you can't bank federally, if you're in the cannabis space, it's going to be a hard time, right? So we're going to wait for that, and I think that's just what's required. And I mean, unfortunately, I think people thought that COVID was going to be a good thing. I mean, it was. They're selling more marijuana, and more people are at home. But the problem is that it's now not on the minds of the legislation, or I mean, that's here in Canada, but the regulators and things like that. There's so much more happening. So I haven't even heard anything from Kamala Harris. Is she even alive? I don't, where are these people? They were the ones talking about marijuana and cannabis, right? And that's what sparked some of my interest. Well, I mean, we've been interested in this for a long time.
Sparked?
Oh, that was a good one. Sparked, yeah.
You didn't even know.
And I didn't even notice that. That was a good one, yeah. So we'll do that. But and until someone comes out and starts speaking positively about this, it's just going to be in the doldrums here. So I don't like the marijuana space until we hear more about it.
All right, let's get into what's moving around here, guys, in the pre-market. If you are still looking for the morning note, that is the link that you need to go to. All you need is an email address, absolutely free, to get our watch list, guys. Every single day it comes out just before we come on, about 8:30. You can expect that, again, absolutely free to you. Affirm. Let's talk about AFRM, the obvious strength this morning. Both pre-market, as I mentioned, aftermarket yesterday as well. Huge move after a blowout report. Not much to talk about as far as negativity here. Smaller loss than expected. There was a share-related increase in the overall number on the loss side, but it was to be expected, guys.
Yeah, the revenue was a big monster beat for them. The only thing that would concern me about trading today is, you obviously had the Amazon news, which is probably even bigger than this. I think some of that, certainly is people are like, oh, I missed the boat on it. I want to pick up some shares here as well to get this run. The stock was 140s, 150s. And I think you have some obvious support, which is pretty solid for it in the 100 level. And if that comes into play today, I think that's going to be an interesting buy on maybe a swing basis or something like that. But when I look at a chart like this, the first thing that comes to my mind is confirmation. Is there any confirmation of a top, right? And I think that's the first thing you look at. You post-market 115 level, and then pre-market you're looking at exactly the same thing. I mean, if you fail off this, it doesn't take much to get you back into the 107, 108 range, and that's a pretty solid return off of what could be just an easy risk to reward. It also, obviously is going to set up for a 115 break if you like that as well. I love Affirm, but kind of like with Upstart, there were 2 days in a row off a top like this, double parabolic moves, and then you were just looking for that first little quick short retracement. The downside here is it doesn't really do a ton of volume, and the spread, the spread's okay now, but the spread I was looking at a little bit earlier was a lot bigger. It was like a 30-cent spread right now, but I was looking at 40, 50-cent spreads on a $100 stock, which is pretty big, which makes it tricky to try to work yourself into something without getting hit on the offer. And if it spikes and immediately fails through 115, I think there's going to be a tight stop shorting opportunity that gets you a 112, 113 off the high, and then you're shooting for 107, 108, just on the fact that this is up so tremendously, and not just from here. Don't just look at the gap from last night. look at it from the Amazon story and look at it from where this was a couple of weeks ago and understand that that's why there could be some profit taking. I'm not doing any personally, but the first look I'm going to go for is that 930 rollover style trade just because it sets up.
Yeah, look, I mean, we talked about Affirm yesterday, and you know, it was a good call. It seems like the idea that we gave at 350 yesterday was a good one, and I'm seeing a lot of people that cashed in on that. So congratulations to anybody that went forward with that play. And I just said the same thing. The risk to reward was just better on the upside than it was on the downside. You know, I would have preferred to play it with options. I know it was a little bit late in the day to do that, but you know, you had this great support down here. We've already talked about the Amazon news, so not only that, you're building that, and then what I was talking about was the fact that they would guide higher, and that's exactly what they did. And now today, you're getting that big bump up. I mean, we've seen this happen with Asana. Now, you know, remember ASAN, if you guys can remember it, and there's a few other ones. PayPal had a good report, was up and then got hit back down as well. The same thing with Asana, and now they're up to $100. So what I was getting at, and I don't know if I could find the day for you, it was a little while ago, but we dipped down before, I think it was this day exactly. We dipped down here on earnings and then just ripped up the rest of the day, and then the very next day opened up higher and higher and higher and higher. So that's sort of what I see here for Affirm. There could be some profit taking here. There's a lot of people that probably cherry picked that. Oh no. Okay, AFRM, hopefully it comes back. I don't know if it's going to, but there's a lot of people that cherry picked that bottom, and not only that, but they just got long into that Amazon news. So if you're long into the Amazon news, you're probably long at 90, 91, 92-ish, somewhere around there, even 97, 98, it doesn't matter. But you're waking up today to see a 113 print. So I think there's going to be some profit taking. So, you know, long story short, I do expect Affirm to pull back a little bit. I don't even want a 111 bid. I mean, I think there's going to be movement to the downside. Anything around here, we had a pullback yesterday, and then it stopped about 107, 108, and then it took off again. So that's kind of the levels there. I mean, the very bottom would be 106. I think we'll park some bids down here around, and then if we get those, great. If not, then we can look back at it in about 5 or 10 minutes after open, and then we'll see it hopefully take out those tops of 115.
Let's get a check of the overall market here. As we said, back to the upside finally after I mean, it was a choppy week, let's be honest. Arun is here. Give us your thoughts, Arun. What are we looking at today?
All right, so there's something you got to keep in mind today. Last night, actually, yesterday evening, we had the rollover in the futures contract. We've gone from the September contract to the December contract as the front month. So Z21 is a new contract that everyone will be trading. Problem is, the first day, specifically Friday after the rollover, volume doesn't transfer over completely. So you have both contracts now trading. You have the September U21 contract and you have the December Z21 contract, both trading, and they're splitting the volume from the market. Right now, I'm looking at the updates, and there's 186,000 contracts being traded in September and 165,000 as of up till now from last night on the December contract. So there's a difference of 20,000, which can easily be covered after the open. So I imagine the December contract is going to take majority of the volume after we get open, but that makes it that much more difficult because for anyone who's looking at volume to make decisions, it's hard now because you have two contracts trading simultaneously with a decent amount of volume on both of them. So me personally, I'm going to stay out of this market at least until the afternoon. I'm going to pull all levels that I've got, any levels I've talked about in the past. I'm taking them all down, and we're just going to let this trade, let it develop, and how it trades after the open, where it decides to hesitate, where it decides to declare levels. Using those points after the open, that's how I'm going to trade. I'm just going to work from what I see after the open. But going into the day, nothing is valid from the past few days, whatever the case. Any levels I've marked off, I remember 90, I remember 45, 35, 45, 50. All those levels I've talked about, we're going to pull them down. We're just going to let the market trade, let it discover some new levels, and we're just going to go forward. And on Monday, after today is complete, on Monday, we're going to have a decent amount of volume and activity to work with, so we can actually see how the market wants to trade with all that volume coming into the December contract on Monday. So it's just, for me now, it's just a matter of figuring out how we want to trade, mark some levels off, and we'll take some trades on Monday.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in on Monday. Have a great weekend. Let's continue along here. We'll talk about some of these Chinese stocks. Again, regulators meeting with platform-based companies today, talking about better algorithms, better care for their employees, better compensation, human resources, and society was the group that was conducting that. So BABA, DD, JD, PDD, and Baidu, guys, all listed in this group.
Yeah, well, we talked a little bit about Alibaba. Before I get into DD, I just want to, of course, a note. Today, it's the 10th of September. Tomorrow, September 11th, of course. So I just want to say, of course, for everyone who is commemorating that day, do so in good health, and remember the way that it sees fit to you. We're not going to talk about politics, but it is worth mentioning, of course.
Well, it's like a moment of silence.
Yeah, there was a moment of silence, of course, because it's 9 o'clock, and it's just one of those things that if you're in finance and you're in trading, then you probably knew some people who especially lived in New York and were affected by it, and everyone remembers where they were that day. And of course, it's going to be Saturday, so we can't say anything tomorrow, but just thought we'd bring that one up today. Getting back to DD, it's interesting because I was just saying like volume. I don't want to trade things unless there's actual volume, but I kind of like the way that DD was set up. If only because I look at this 875 level and it's too juicy, right? Like you had this, the 15-minute chart here, you had this top going back to the end of August, the 24th, and then you made this nice little run to the squeeze top at 10 off of 875, and then you had double bottom. So you come in on Tuesday, of course, and you had that bottom 875, and it makes the same low, and now we're breaking off of this obvious key level, resistance to support, and trying to break out after. It's not a 2-day high because it was trading at 950, right? But if you look at this in the afternoon and it was off at 920, and then yesterday 920, and then we're holding right here just below that 920 mark, it sets up great for like a nice little breakout here at 925. Now the reality is you're at least giving it back to yesterday's close. On the wider stance, you're probably giving it back to that 875, which is 50 pennies. I don't really like that too much, so I'd probably take 2 shots at this. I love this level on DD. I know there's not a ton of volume to it, but I still want to have this break. But I'll go with the tighter stop because there's no volume behind it. I'm definitely going to buy in front of an 875. It's weird. Like usually I'd be saying, where am I going to short DD? I look at that 875 level, and that's something I want to utilize to the long side today.
I was just looking, oil up 2% right now, and moving a little bit. Not that that affects any of these Chinese names, but just talking about that. I've mentioned this before, FXI. I mean, that's the large cap for China. So, I mean, if you are interested in anything here, I mean, we're talking day trading and scalping and things like that now. But if you did want to hold something for a longer term, and you did think that you just want a piece of all of the action there, BABA, Tencent, and DD, not DD won't be in this, but Billy and a few other Baidu and things like that will be involved with FXI. Went over the last couple of days, just Google FXI, constituents, and you'll find out who's in it. But right there, good bottoms being made here, and I just think that it's taking out its 50 period right now. It did that right up here. So if you wanted to go long, I mean, you could go long now, 42, 43, with your out being like 41. And I know that's not that big, but you don't get that crazy movements on some of these ETFs. So I think that this is well worth the risk here if you did think some of the pressures in China are being relieved. It looks like we're going to be out very, very soon. I thought, why didn't we get out of this already? We're waiting for it to break 3. We're waiting for it to break this 310. This is SOS. So we took a shot here on the short side. There's a big level here at 310. Once it breaks that, we'll be out. There we go. And then we probably should have reversed long right there. So that's going to be an 0 for 1 right now for SOS. Again, not a huge position. It was in the pre-market, but that smile turns evil real quick there as SOS takes that top off. And wow, still going right now as my chart's not loading, but still going SOS, looking to take out that 335 now. So that might have been a good punch there long at 310. So, that could have been something. Normally I wait for that break there at 305, and then we would be in the money 10 cents. Instead, we give 15 cents back on the short. So yeah, that was a mistake. Maybe it's a long right now back to this 305, 306 area. So good on anybody who long SOS. I think I'm going to try to do it myself if we do get a pullback now. That seems to be pretty strong.
All right, let's continue along here, guys. We have a few to get through. Let's go to support. Specifically, I mean, we can talk about BBIG. The biggest mover yesterday, I guess, was BBIG. Clover as well. ATER, one that a lot of people have been watching this week. Also, in that kind of 16% as far as the short interest is concerned. But support.com, the investor vote today on this merger that has been coming for a while. Greenbridge Generation Holdings, which is a blockchain-oriented technology company, a private one, but the vote today.
Absolutely. There's some levels which do set up as sort of obvious. One of them is the low of the day 25 here. You had a breakout you'll know better about this because it would have been right when you guys were coming back onto air for the afternoon show when it broke 25 here, and there was clearly like a previous resistance point the last couple of sessions. Then we have a pre-market low bouncing off of that level. You have some failed breaks at like failed break 27, failed breakout here at like 27.75, which leads me towards like maybe finding something on a bit of a dip. I like 25, I like 23.20, 23.25, somewhere around this range as well to catch support. If it's going to be 27, I think that's a little bit tricky and choppy to me. I'd almost want to see it take out that level, maybe fail a little bit, and then retake it upside because each time you see these wicks, like it gets pretty ugly on some reversals ever since the stock had come in from going parabolic. So taking a top break, I'd rather stay away from taking any kind of a top break on it and maybe catch a bit of a dip. The caveat is, if you look at yesterday's action, how crazy the dip was before it bottomed out, sort of breaking through what you would have thought would have been previous support and then going right into some random levels. And then a similar thing happening the day before that, as you saw it break right through a pre-market low, break through the previous close price, and then actually wait until like an afternoon bottom before it made a turn. So I kind of feel like you have to give this one a bit of a wide berth. I'm looking 25s. I like that 23.20 as well. We're too close to the 25 to necessarily jump into that position, but I'd let it break and come back in for sure. I just can't get behind the 27 even break. I'd rather see it come a second time through any break up price like that. So I'm not shorting. I'm not shorting this stock. I'm not going to be sitting in this rollover short or shorting off of that 27 level. If I were to pick a level to short, it would probably look first at 30 and then way up until about this like 35 area right here. Those are the two things that kind of line in the sand sort of thing where you could get in before it makes any kind of a hard turn. But until then, I'll look for a place to be a buyer. Not 27, between 23.20 and 25.
Yeah, yesterday, right here, we traded yesterday. We took this 25.50 break, and then it stopped at 26.50. So if there's going to be a level to take it out, I think 26.50 is going to be a good one. And then watch out for that top at 27.50. And if it does take out 26.50, then you got to look back at this level here, 25. So it's basically about a buck either way. There's a little bit more risk to the downside on this one, so just be careful with that. But there's 27.50 again. So that came, there's the break there of 26.50. There's 27.50, and now today we're back into this area where we sort of hung out yesterday. So we'll wait to see. I mean, it's nicely up. It's higher here, not higher into that, but right into this level right here, 25. So support, I like the support at 25, but again, I'd rather play a break of 26.50. It doesn't look clean on here, but it's right here. And then we'll watch it go to 27.50. Let's not make the mistake this time. And let's just get out of 80, 90% of it if we can for that dollar if it does go. And then you do have to hold back to 25. So there's a little bit of risk there. But, again, if the momentum goes, we know about this stock, how it can run. And I like support to break that level, but you do have the 25 to worry about.
A few things to note on Tesla this morning. We saw a little bit of volatility come in about mid-afternoon yesterday. What time was that? About 2 o'clock. There was an internal email that Reuters got a hold of, which had a great quote in it. CEO Elon Musk asking employees to, and I quote, go super hardcore to make up for production challenges early in Q3. So that was kind of an indication that maybe their numbers weren't where they needed to be for Q3 at this point. But Elon being Elon, once again, up 0.6 today. We mentioned the Cathie Wood tie here as well.
What, Elon pushing them to meet targets?
The boss says go super hardcore.
But he's like nobody does that more than Elon Musk. So I don't know. Like, that just seems par for the course for me here in Tesla. And you can talk about the slide to the correction, whatever you wanted to call it. That's what I would call the move up the last few days in Tesla. Like, sure, it's up the last couple of days, and you can certainly, if you look at the 15, you're like, yeah, okay, that's right, we're up this week, but it's really not doing a heck of a lot. Like, it's still in exactly the same range, and you look to this, it's like 765 on a week long here. Maybe we just go sideways again today, and we're looking breakout next week, but you got to be looking at 765. I mean, you can't really ignore something like that, especially when in the past, I'm going to throw one of those random Tesla numbers out there because whatever, it's just what happens. 787, and I kind of remember these all the way from the way up initially before the split. 787 was a bit of one, and you kind of look back here at this little peak, and again, when it made its run here, failing at 800, and then the next day it had a top at 787, and that was the price on the way up. So in the event that we get that 765 break at some point, you'll likely hear me next week say 787 is going to be an interesting resistance level on Tesla. So file that one away. Not a lot of volume, still not moving. I don't know if this is the week that we're going to get that breakout. We get close to 765, and there's a good volume spike, relatively speaking, on it. I think it should be a good level, but it's been pretty sleepy and range-bound in Tesla, which usually indicates you don't want to be trading until it breaks out.
Yeah, we went back long. Yeah, so I mean, Tesla, we've traded that a little bit here. It was a good trade. We've been long that name for a long time, and we continue to like Tesla. And I think if you haven't owned it yet, you got to wait for a pullback. And talking about waiting for a pullback, here comes SOS. So we'll see here. It's pulling back into this area. Let's see if I can double lose on this. Short there, out here. Now we have, again, a small position into this. We'll see if we can hold that 290 rate there. But again, on the one-day chart here for SOS, as you can see, it's a nice number. But at the same time, all we're sort of doing is traveling here, which is why I don't want to put on. It doesn't look like it's breaking out anything here. It is starting to take out this top. Like I was saying earlier, it needs to take out this 340 to get it through all of this, but it's above that 50 period, which is now at 275 on the daily chart. So I think this is a good one here. We'll see if SOS can hold some of these highs, but that's a nice movement, up 20%. And I think there's a short interest on this name anyways. So SOS, will look to see if we can't get some out here at the high of the day, make that 10 cents back, and then hold the rest for this 290 bottom. If it breaks 290, then we're going to be out of it, and then that would just be horrible, and we'll see where we go from here. But let's put it down here to like 285 or so. Let's not use 290. Let's get a little bit more slippery with that one, down to 285. But SOS, first target here for 10 cents, make the money back that we lost, and then we'll see if it takes out that 340.
Let's go to Dave & Buster's here next. Play, I was trying to think this morning in the pre-market, the last time I saw this thing up, 10%, 10.8% currently for Dave & Buster's. 3.6% increase in same-store sales in the second quarter. That was basically in line with pre-pandemic 2019 levels on that number. So a nice look here for Play today. We're actually kind of clearing some significant levels on the daily chart as well.
You better believe it. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. We're just trading, y'all. Kid and Play. I know you like. Sean just literally got up to go to the bathroom, so like, I had that one lined up, and I'm like, Brendan's not going to get that at all, right? But Sean would have been all over it. I'm telling you guys how old I am when I'm talking about Kid and Play. But that's a great song. That's their better song. But you talked about the daily chart here, and yes, 39.50 is going to stand out. Like anyone with a pair of eyes can kind of look at these levels here. This 39 quarter where you have these bars, and this wick here, 39.50 top. You had a bit of a breakdown, but look at how, I guess, non-volatile the action is around some of those prices, and then pop the 15-minute chart up to kind of see what happens when the stock doesn't move, right? Like you get these clusters of like 15, to like 50 pennies, I guess, or so of movement, which can be tricky to navigate. That's why you want to wait for days like today, which of course is going to be earnings. That 39.50, if you get a failure off that price, look, I prefer a firm today because I think there's more volatility and more opportunity in a firm. As we went over that, it's twice the move here. And probably going to, I think, do a better relative volume, at least from what I can tell. But Play, probably the same setup off that 39.50 level where you get a gap. It was into some resistance before, as opposed to a firm which is a ways away from any price levels like this. And if you're looking at Dave & Buster's, there's got to be at least a few traders or maybe even investors who are saying, okay, we've got this fantastic bounce. Now you're going to get great print on earnings. They're a big reopen play, and there's still some concerns that could be a bit of a slowdown depending on how the fall goes. I could definitely see some profit taking happening, not because it's up as big in the last couple of weeks like a firm is, but just because it's at a resistance level anyways, 39.50. That's going to stand out for breakout, but I don't like breakouts unless there's volume behind it. There's none here on Play. It's similar setup to a firm, although it's a firm that I would rather be fading off of that high, getting close to 930.
I haven't really looked too much at Dave & Buster's there yet today, but I do agree.
I made a Kid and Play reference right when you were gone. Brendan didn't get it, so.
Oh, okay. Why? Because Brendan didn't get invited to the house party?
See what I'm talking about?
We're in the building. Good one, Neil.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
All right. What's up, Brendan?
Scalar, guys, the cloud-based security company also reported this morning. 14 cents per share, 9 cents higher than expected. So another one of those kind of sleepy stocks that we don't really talk about a lot, but decent look here. 3%. The reason I bring this up is, again, the daily chart. If you go out to a higher time frame, we're right here close to recent highs for Zscaler.
Zscaler.
So this put a double top in last week at 295, which I was definitely noting one of the first things when I looked at it here. And look at how it's the same thing as Dave and Buster's. We have this ridiculously choppy action, and then you want to work off of those key levels because look what happens when it makes those resistance plays. It'll be like a one-shot and done type play. So I think it's binary at 295. You know, it either spikes up and gives you that fail, or it gives you a clean break. But if you take a 295 break, I'm not sure you're wrong for about $5 or $6, right? Like maybe even not back to like 287, which is tricky on a day trade, you know, let alone, you're probably giving it back to this 90.91, I think, if you're really conservative there, and that's $5. So you have to be getting it into like a $300 move on Zscaler, which makes it very, very tricky for a day trade. I don't know if the volume's gonna be there. It's not like trading Moderna, where you can put on levels like that and sort of give it that extra like 5, look for those 10, 15, $20 moves and be very, very comfortable that they're going to be in there for you, right? Like Moderna, I mean, yesterday, Moderna giving you level breaks like this and then giving you like $20, $15 moves. I think that's, if you're chasing those types of returns, you should be doing something like that in mRNA. I don't have any levels on Moderna, obviously. If it does pull back into 450, it kind of somehow got on the Moderna rant here. But if it pulls back into 450, you had this shelf right around lunchtime where it broke back out and then held support. So 450 does stand out a little bit for me on mRNA. Zscaler, 295 looks pretty good for a break. I just don't see myself wanting to day trade that. What I've been trying to do, like the bigger hold trades and some of the more expensive names, I just don't like the Zscaler setup. Much prefer a firm, which could already be getting away from me.
Yeah, a firm, we talked about that dip. Hopefully that does happen at some point. But I want to talk about AMC quickly here and what's up to all the apes that are out there. Hopefully today is going to be another great day. It's been a good one for AMC. The momentum's been huge here. We traded a little bit yesterday. We talked about that. That was on the afternoon show. But look at the momentum to the upside. Bang. I mean, it's been a good week for them as it just continues to climb. I mean, there's more positive days than negative days. And AMC just keeps on continuing to baffle a lot of the value investors because we know the fundamentals here and they're not great, but they do announce that deal yesterday, and we'll see. They're going to be putting more advertising in there. I believe it was Nicole Kidman, I think, is through there now, starting to advertise some of the welcome back to the theater plays, and we'll just wait to see. I like this 49.50. Let's see if it takes it out. We bounced off there a couple times. I want to be long back here to 48. I want to be long back here to 47. So I have some bids in here to see if we can't grab some dips, even down here into 47. If it does take out 47 down here, then we'll be a little bit more concerned. But I do like a 49.50 break on this name. We've seen this happen over and over again. Let's see if it happens one more time. If I take a baby long at 49, I'll do that first. We'll average into it, and then if it wants to drop today, then we'll lose on AMC, but I do like a 49.50 break, and then we'll have to see what happens at 50. I mean, we're right here. We've already broken out. This was really the key level here, 44. We've held and bounced, so now we'll wait to see 50. If 50 comes out, the last time we were up here, we were to 53. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do like AMC today. I'm trying to play the names with momentum, right? And so AMC's been very, very strong for a while. GME, we'll look at that as well, but I like AMC more than GME. It's just been a strong play off on the daily here, and you could see even yesterday, opens up, finds its way, then takes off. So we'll see if it can do the same thing here. Trying to find out a bottom, then hopefully we get a little bit of a moonshot here on AMC again today. I think it tests 50. It's setting up to do that, so let's go.
Very active guys here in the pre-market. ISEE, NASDAQ. There's that APLS that was down huge after some negative data on a blindness treatment that they were working on. This is a competitor to that company. This thing, in my opinion, has no business being up here this morning. So I'm already in this one. Sold that breakdown through, I think it was 1350. There was support here initially, resistance support, breaks to the downside. Tested it a couple times, but we're already approaching 13 here. So again, this is all related to APLS, so it's up huge because of negative data on a competitor's drug treatment. So ISEE, an interesting one, guys.
Yeah, I was going to put this one in the bucket of 930 like short the pop type kind of thing into like, it's not a $15 level. It's like the high right now is 1465. Interesting level at 1320. Looks like it would have been first support there. Obviously bringing it out in front of it because it makes tons of sense. And then 12 looks like it's going to be a bit of a level on IC. I'm going to get to Endo Pharmaceutical very quickly here. Whoa, we have over 5 minutes to go. So I guess I don't have to be that fast about it. But Endo, not that Endo, but Endo Pharmaceutical. Look, you look at the daily chart, and I'm just going to point out 275 here, which should stand out a little bit. The last time it did have a little bit of a bounce. It got right to that 3/4 mark before fading out. It's made a very, very nice base off of around $2 here into this break, but anytime you have a gap like this, and then an obvious resistance level, I mean, I'm going to sit out. Like, I wouldn't be thinking breakout at 250 or 260. It's got to be taking 275 out for me to like the long, unless you're getting it off of that $2 level. So it got to be like 225 or so, which means I'm fading into 275 if we get a pop for sure. I already have I got offers out on a firm. It looks like we're not going to get that one. Well, it can still pop at 930 into that 113, 114 area to catch that bit of a short in front of 115. It's starting to roll over. Endo is the same thing. It's starting a bit of a rollover now, but I think it has a chance to get up to that 275. We just talked about IC as well, and I'm sort of with you. The only concern I have with AMC in that 49.50. I mean, the current, I guess, if you look at 49.50 here, is taking a break at that 49.50 when 50 does loom. It kind of feels like one of those, either you're taking a 50 break, 49.50 break, and then adding at 50 even, or waiting for the 50, or maybe even waiting for a failure the first time through, which catches you back, maybe pulling back into like 48 or so, like somewhere right around this level where you've had some previous tops. You know, that could be an interesting thing, because if it does fail break and manage to hold 48, that's a 50 test definitely looming for sure on AMC. So there's a lot of stocks to already look at, guys. And we did mention EFTR. I know you guys are asking, did we talk about that? We did go over EFTR. It is on the radar. 50 cents a share for us to short that one today. So it was $2 you said yesterday?
280.
280?
Yeah, 280.
I wouldn't have paid that.
I mean, the move turned out to be like $13. So, okay. Okay, so I just want to bring up a crypto a little bit here. Bitcoin is starting to fall back down to 45.5 again. We bounced off there. This is the 4-day chart or so. Well, it's a 5-minute chart, but we go back here to the 8th. And a little bit even further than that as we get ready for the 10th here. So sorry, 2-day chart. But you can see we've touched out to 45.5 a couple times, but we are starting to go back down here. And it's not that it's aggressive, but here's the 1 minute. It's starting to tick down. Like, it's just went down that $1,000 there. I can't believe you talk like that with Bitcoin. Like, I remember when this was like $600 a coin and Mt. Gox got hacked. Right here, same thing with Ethereum, starting to drop down. If you look at a 5-minute chart right now, Ethereum can't really figure itself out here. It's even breaking even more than Bitcoin right now. So we still have that bottom of 32 and then that ultimate bottom the other day of 29 that happened. So, I mean, you still have this protection at 32. I wouldn't say it's anything worth worrying about, but just to give you guys an update here, crypto's starting to go to the downside. So you want to look at some MARA, some BTC, GBTC, ETHE there on that side of things. But that is the crypto side. And with that being said, we're still watching AMC. We're going to watch Coinbase as well. Now that we'll just segue right over here. Coinbase did have a nice dump that one day off that, but we're still okay. We're still at some of these levels, still holding that 250. So any kind of a dip on crypto, I think you can buy Coinbase. It seems that that's the strong correlation there. It did go down the other day on some of that, obviously on that crash there. Coinbase did have some problems. We went down to 155 and held. So watch out for 255. So we're going to watch out for 255 today on Coinbase, especially if the market does crash down. We've seen that happen. Here's the big crash again. So we'll wait to see what happens here at 255. I believe that was the move downside. There's 254 holding there as well. So yeah, 255, 254, something like that here to be held on with Coinbase. So we'll see if that can come down.
Absolutely, and just about 2 minutes to go. I'm just sort of, you show that to me and it's like, okay, like a bit of a pullback. Then I start thinking like SOS, which I'm usually shorting this stock. I don't know why I didn't get into it. I kind of want to wait to see what those news was, but the failure on that break, and then holding below that 305. To me, I almost want to be shorting off the lower high, which looks like on the 15-minute, that's like a 305 to 310 area short. So if we bounce off 290 at the open, this does set. Why are there so many like setups that I'm looking for a pop into 930? There's like 3 or 4 of them already. SOS is going to be on that list. I mean, you look at that 305 to 310 area right in here. You're hoping it puts in a lower high for that shorting idea. So I'm going to add that one to the list. Only a minute to go. And when I said a firm was starting to get away from me here, this is kind of what I meant, right? Like I'm sitting at 113. I'm sitting at 113.70, 75, just in front of that 114 short level to go short.
Yeah, okay.
But like this made a heck of a lot more sense when it was just sitting at that 112 and holding the pre-market lows. Now it's continuing to break down. There's still a chance it could pop. Positive news. Maybe you get some buying going into the open, and I can fade into that. So have to be patient. I don't want to be chasing this too far, but Affirm is the one that I felt would be good today. Endo Pharmaceutical fits into that bill. With IC, I could see IC, oh goodness, bouncing off of a 12 even. If there was a big flush, I definitely like that price. Miss V is on the bell today.
AMC is flushing.
We're halfway to Greensville. Or sorry, we're 0.5% to the upside. So Miss V didn't need to wear green. We needed to break that streak that's been happening this week. Let's drop the countdown for you.
Drop it.
8, 7. Sean's in 2 positions. I'm in none.
I'm already in AMC. Just drops down there.
5, 4, 3, 2. Ring it, Miss V.
Holy Jesus! What the heck?
One time.
Wouldn't she hit that with a freaking jackhammer? Like, what was that?
Valeria's been
Oh my
working
God,
out,
Valeria
man.
not playing today,
Yeah.
boy.
Oh,
Wow.
come on, Affirm.
Wow, AMC, there we go. Let's go. AMC, a nice little rip there. Long 09s, out 49.50 there. A nice win here for AMC to start the day. Let's see if it continues to go up, and away. We're into Affirm on that low bid there, Neil.
I cannot believe it. I gotta cancel my offers on Affirm because if it were to spike $5 right now, I kind of would want to wait
Valeria
for it.
do
That was
there?
insane.
That
She
was-
hit
that
that
was-
bell
that
pretty
was
hard, by the
nuts,
way.
man.
Affirm goes down to 108 already. I was still looking to fade that one. Looks like I'm not going to be getting it. Now 107. You got to be kidding me. Why am I not short this thing? It's going to kill me that I'm not, but I cannot sit there chasing it. I got to get you guys over to Endo just because it's holding fort. That's ENDP, of course. Holding fort in this 260 range. 275 is that key price. It's starting to spike a little bit. I'm going to give it some room, and then I'm going to start getting into that short position off the 75.
Yeah, we're smoking on that Endo right now as it just continues to go to the upside here. The market is just rallying like crazy here, up 0.64%. Okay, so we've dug in now. So we're down here 105 and change for Affirm. We have that bid now. We're long at 108. Let's see if we can't make some, magic happen. There goes AMC. You want to talk about making magic? Let's go on that one. AMC to the moon, baby. We called that one, and there it goes, man. First long's 49, next long's 49.50. Out. Let's see if we get that 50 break eventually, guys. Here it comes. AMC mooning. Let's go. And there goes Affirm, $1 plus in the money.
And remember that EFTR? We talked about that 30. Tops out at 32, which incidentally, that is exactly the afternoon high, right around that 32 level. So second I see that, I immediately pop into a short position off of it at 31 here. We're going to bank some out here. We'll power it up because EFTR looks like it was worth it paying for those shorts.
There you go.
Arun. No, I'm look, all kidding aside. Like, you got to share your own book here. Right back into 29. So quick $1.80 on the second third of it. Gonna hang on to see if we get a further pop down. Because look, last time this spiked up in the pre-market, it came off like $5. You look at what's happened to this in the last couple of days, and it's been falling like $5, $6, $7, $8 like this. So I think we can have, if this ends up being the top, good chance you're testing 26, 27. But I didn't want to look gift horse in the mouth. Got to take some of that profit for sure.
Neil never wants to look at gift horse.
I try not to.
Okay, we're going to go here on Alibaba. We are already long here at 170 here, so that's going to be a nice little win for us if it continues to go upside. We talked about this 172 break, but now we have this long. Let's just hold it. It's a small position because we were just trying to cherry pick there early. Now we'll wait to see if it goes to the upside, and then we can get that big win maybe for us. Look at Affirm, man. That was a good one. The money just coming out on that. Double longs and out right there, so that's a good play for us there on AFRM. So Affirm, a nice move now. We are long 107.60, so we're in the money $1 now on this name. Alibaba coming back in, and so is AMC. So we're gonna have to watch out for these names, but I'm not afraid of this. I like it. We've already taken the profit on AMC. Let's see if it comes back into these areas now. It just bounced off 50. We're actually waiting at 97. It went to 90 there, so a mistake there. Not a mistake, but we should have got out. We didn't. There goes Affirm. Let's go, baby. This one's starting to make some moves.
Yeah, I just got out of Endo at the top there, so I'll flush that one up. I'm not on the flush down toilet, so I'll hit another key there. As it just broke that 275, a bit of a bounce happening EFTR. I'm holding on to this short. So like I said, I want to dig into this one for the longer term here. If it does make a pop and fail at about 30.50, I would like to be able to reload that position if I can. Sticking to the short side on the firm, I'm going to wait for it to get back into that 110, 111 before I think about an entry. Brendo.
Big print on IMPL this morning, guys. We were talking about this one going back beginning of the week. Remember, this thing ran all the way up here to 43, 44, if you remember, and then just completely collapsed the entire session. So huge volume print there at the open, back above 17 for IMPL.
All right, there goes Alibaba. Nice win, man. Long 170, out 171 there. So we're going to let this one run to the high side here and see if we can't make magic happen on Alibaba as well, man. Good days all around. Affirm, we just took some more out there. So as you can see, buy the dips, man. Buy the dips on Affirm. We'll see if it goes now. I mean, we still have our outs. Right now, this will not be a losing trade. We'll get out at 105 if we have to. We're out of more than half right there at that VWAP spot, but I'm trying to hold out for more, man. I still have some nice spots here. I believe anyways that we should be able to get something down here on Affirm. I don't know if it reloads, but I think that we should get up to 111 at least. So we'll see if that can hold. Hopefully it does. There goes Alibaba still back up through 171. So that's going to be a good play. And we're holding on to our SOS right now. Come on, Affirm. 109 and change. Let's go. Let's get a little bit higher. 110.50, not bad. I'm still looking for higher than that as well.
Of course, support. I mean, obviously, support just drops like a rock through that 25 area.
Yeah.
Right into 20. Didn't get to 23.20. It got to 23.60 or so. I thought 20 was going to be the bottom in any kind of a move. It looks like about 40 cents shy of that. If the 25 clearly turns into your resistance point now, because we thought that was going to be a key level for sure. But let's look to see it test back down to the 23 even level before we jump into it. Want to go back to quickly to IC. We'll go to Brent. We'll come back for IC.
Chipmaker is showing some strength there, guys, right out of the gate. NVIDIA popped up on volume alert as well. 225 got taken out there, but right back down. But 1.2 for NVIDIA.
That IC is starting to go as well right now. ICC, we do see you, so don't worry about that. Starting to break through here, 1450. This one wants to go. Wow, I mean, the levels, it looks like just nuts on these names when they start to move around like that. So IC up that 60% right now. I don't really have a play on this other than waiting to see what happens at the top, and it looks like it's trying to take that out right now.
I got
1450. Yeah, I mean, you could short ahead of 14, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, for me, like we said, we'd let this one try to pop up and do the 930 rollover. Well, I mean, it doesn't quite get to like the 1465 high. There was this spike into 1420 or so. Then once it started slowing down, I got myself like a 90. Well, it's actually technically 93 short. We've got it in a couple of times here. And if we can use that lower high, that 1420 to 1435 as an area stop, and then maybe retest that 1465 to 15, that's the method I sort of want to go with here. Getting in a little bit early because the volume's all over the place. And I want to be able to scalp some out in front of 50, scalp some out in front of the quarters and then the evens, and then see if it doesn't pull back in here. So I see you, it's on the move. We want to see if we can get a little bit active, but I have to make sure I have bids on the way down, just in case it does one of those flushes, and then we take advantage of it. I hear the AMC rally going in the back, and that's Trader Pratt. I don't know if you guys catch that one, but here comes. So it broke that 49.50, stalls at 50, which I feared, and then comes right back. So I like the retest of a level like that. Double break would be fantastic. So if it takes out that 50 the second time, that's for me a little bit safer, not safer of entry, just more confidence, I guess, in that 50 break now.
Yeah, a little more conservative there. And there's, of course, that's what we're looking for, right? You want to have some conservative plays on your docket as well, if you can get some. But we're in the money nicely now on everything. You hear AMC, that rally cry, back up to 49.83. Ms. V, you got to warn me when it goes there, by the way, because that's going to wind up on Neil one day when I hit that. But thank you, Ms. V, for the reload. That's for damn sure.
No, yeah, just don't do it.
49.70. Okay, so here goes AMC right to the top side there. Thank you, Ms. V, for that. We're still rallying, man, up to 49. We maybe got to get out now. Nice win, and we'll hold to see if it breaks through 50. Let's go, AMC, to the moon, baby. Let's go. Here it comes. We're waiting at 97. We talked about that. Bang! There it is. That's why you got to watch out for that water. So we'll go bulls kicking right now on AMC. Sorry, that coffee. As it's starting to go to the upside now. Let's go, AMC, baby.
If you hit me with water, I'm not going to complain about it. It's a hot coffee. That would be a bit of a problem if we were live trading and that happened. But 50 had 125,000 shares on the offer, which is not a heck of a lot, but I didn't see it there the first time. Anyways,
okay,
that was it breaking that level. I was trying to show you guys that level too. I just broke it. I just want to get back on my chart here. I quickly got two scalps out. One already sitting at 35. On the break, we take some out at the 50 level as well. This continues to absolutely menace to the upside.
Woo!
I'm just going to hang on to it at this particular point. Let it go.
Yeah, AMC, let go! Nice little dollar plus in the money on AMC right now. Guys, our first long was 49. And I talked about this. Not only that, it's on your sticky note. Follow me at TraderTV Sean. It's on the sticky note. We can all cash in together on that one. Hopefully you are long with us on AMC. And like Neil, if you're late to the party, it doesn't matter. When it's starting to rip up, and as long as you are well dressed as well, then that's all that does matter.
Not that I am, but
yeah, not
Trader Pratt
any of us
usually
are.
is,
Trader Pratt normally is. As we go, he had a nice little Lehman Brothers Risk Capital shirt on the other day, which was pretty nice right there. So if you're looking for someone to manage your risk, it may not be Pratt, but I don't think it said 2008, and I heard Valeria stung him yesterday and said he doesn't even think Pratt was born in 2008, but he was. I think it was 2006. There he is. What's up, Pratt? Those got to cover your ears there, man. There he is. Look, see how sharp he looks there? Trader Pratt getting ready for the big fight. It's memes and movers at 11, but right now it's 9:40. So let's not talk about memes and movers. Let's just talk about crushing said market. 50-80, 50-50. Let's get some out on AMC. It just stopped out at 50-80 there. Good win for us. More than $1 in the money on AMC.
Yeah, and IC making its second push. 14.65 is the top. Now, I would take a shot at 15 even if it decides to get there, but I'm not going to let anytime I make this play, I'm never letting it get past that high of the day. So I've got my stop, high of the day breakout, and we'll be out of it. I'm still looking to get into a firm. Okay, yes, so we'll get to EFTR in a second. That sits pretty nicely, $3 in the money, but that's not the thing that's getting my mind. It's missing out on the stock that was number one on the list to be able to trade today, and that's a firm. It just bounced into 109 and is trying to get into 109 a second time here, but it feels like it might be putting in a lower high. It just kind of felt like this was obviously a retracement that I wanted to have. At some point, I'm going to have to stop chasing this. I just have to wait for that 110 or 115 area, somewhere in that $5 range to get back into that name. I see coming back in a little bit, and just to go to support because we don't want to get away from. There's so much to look at here today. It comes right back into that 25 level. Remember that previous big level we talked about, the pre-market, and then immediately fails here, guys. So once I see that, I'm now willing to take a shot. Again, get some confirmation in here. We'll short it off at 25, or at least around this level here, or close to it, and then give it to the wick high at May 25.25. So as long as we didn't have to pay for shorts, because I think it was free. No, apparently not. Support.com we got to pay for as well, but at Ruin, I'm okay doing it.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so SOS falls back down. That was just a nightmare today, not doing too much. 50-30, so now AMC is starting to drop back off there. That's going to look like a short sell because we did have offers up higher, like 52, 51, but we are not obviously short on AMC as that continues to make moves to the upside there. All right, let's check out a firm. And like Neil mentioned, it stopped a couple, well, like I mentioned, I guess, stopped a couple times here. That's why we got out right there at VWAP. Now we're starting to make lower lows here. I mean, not really lower lows, but there's the low right now. 105.50. We did not get punched out there, so we're waiting for a little bit lower than that. Pretty close, though. Now let's wait to see if we can see some more news from Brendo. What's up, Brendan?
Two things. First off, IC, guys, be careful. There's 10 or 11% short interest on IC, so not a huge float either. TIGR, another one, up FinTech. They reported pre-market here better than expected, so TIGR on the move as well.
Oh man, there's so much happening right now today, guys. But Tiger, Affirm, Alibaba, AMC starting to rip up. Alibaba's a nice trade for me as well. Long 170.25. We didn't get the ultimate high, but we did pretty good, I thought, getting out. But 171.60, we got to look at that. That just happened really quick. This was in 1 minute. We took $1. 75 cents. We'll wait to see if it can test up to 172. That's that 172 level that we tweeted out. So hopefully that can hold a little bit there, and we'll see what happens. Still a little baby long on SOS, but we'll wait to see. We did get back into that name, so we'll wait to see if that can do anything. Affirm, again, we're going to wait. I still think we take out this 109.50. Let's see if that is the case. Hopefully I'm right on that one, and we'll take Affirm to the upside. Yeah, so just got into that support. It was 14 cents a share. I mean, the stock literally just put in a pre-market top to bottom range of like $2.50. So I kind of think 14 cents is reasonable. And it's not to look, we're not going to harp on Arun for not paying for shorts. He's a futures trader primarily, and you have to have your own risk parameters. Like we're joking around about it sometimes here. But I like the fact that sometimes. When this 25 level, which stood out, the second you get that break, you get a retest of that level, almost an immediate failure, and then we're going to retest here at 25.25. I just want to be rounding out a short here. I don't want to get too frisky about it because that seems like it could have been a wipeout bottom. So it's not going to be one where I'm like averaging into the rollover. I'm probably just going to stick with what we already have here in front of this level at 24.83, kind of a random price. And then look, if it gets down to 24 even, you want to make sure you're getting some out in front of there. And as I say that, I want to make sure I'm kind of on the bid. It kind of usually makes sense to be on the bid in that situation, Neil. So I'm going to get on the bid here on SPRT, make sure I have an opportunity to get out. AMC, I'm going to stick with this one just because we already took the profit on the breakout trade.
If we can hold this 50 area on a pullback, and I'll give it down to at least 49.85, I think it could be worthy of a reload. But I'd rather reload on the way back up through 50 or actually even catch it in front of that 49.85. Otherwise, let's just kind of hang on to these shares that we have in AMC. IC might have wicked me out. We'll see. IC, UC, whatever.
We all
IC might have wicked. Come on. Really?
What happened?
There we go. IC might have wicked me out. This is me taking out the top, and then 15 holds on a dime. So 14.99 is the current high on this stock, and I kind of said, well, let's see what happens at 15. I did not re-enter the trade, which would have been an entry at 75. When I see this pullback, I want it below that previous price that I was shorting in front of. Like for me, I want it failing 15 and getting all the way back down. I'd rather be shorting literally the same prices that I lost on as opposed to cashing it right in front of 15 even, which seems like a trap. And now that it touches 15 again and rejects, I think it might give me that same look. So as Brendan mentioned, small float, could be a lot of crazy action here. But the reason I wasn't in that consolidation, I was looking for a little more weakness to join. Brendo?
The other end of that story, guys, this APLS starting to go back to the upside as well. It was down huge early on. It was near 50% at one point. Just retook 35 on a volume spike there. So trying to get back higher as well for APLS.
All right, big time longs here on AMC off the sticky note. We'll see if it can hold it. And by the way, we're off to the moon right now. There goes a firm right now. So this is the level that we're talking about. We like this trade here on AFRM. I'm going to offer 10.50 right ahead of this. We'll see if we can get out some on a firm, a $3 winner now for this trade. So that, I mean, for me, a good one. I'm happy with the way this is trading. Obviously, as a firm looking to take out this 110, what a good bottom pick that was. I mean, it's not the very bottom, but we talked about defending that 105. We tried to do that. I think we did a pretty good job. Now we'll wait to the upside on a firm. There goes AMC, and man, we just cashed that out right there. So nice little out there on AMC as we continue to go, man. Let's just hit those diamond hands on AMC. Big trade for me, big trade alert. AMC up 5%, congratulations. And it's on the sticky note, so we'll talk about that when we get back. But a good trade here. I'm flat now. We'll see where it goes from here, but good trade on AMC. I hope some of you had that with us, and if you didn't, I know you probably have it in your own account anyways. Big time momentum there for AMC today. Wow.
Yeah, and that double top that you just saw on IC there at 15, we like that fail break as opposed to touching 49. So I get not the exact same price, but pretty close to it. 14.31 we have to the short side here. Obvious levels here, 13.50 and then 13 even. 12 even still remains a big one into that downside, guys. I still think there's a decent chance that there could be a buy at that 12 even. We're ways away from it now, but let's see if the short can work out. I'm still in that AMC, going to be holding it. A firm for me is going to start to turn into that short, like I said, where I did not get the one off of the open. It is starting to round off of this first level, which was the breakdown here at 110. Brendo, what's up, buddy?
Just looking at General Motors, guys, some comments coming out here. It looks like the CFO making comments right now, talking about a more stable year coming on the semiconductor shortage front. So GM having a nice day out of the gate here, 3%.
All right, guys, and we're going to do it one more time here as we'll just, get a nice one here for a firm, and we'll go bang on that one as it goes to 1040 right now. That's our price. I mean, that was our target. We literally sat there. It was actually 1041, I think. No, 1040. So we sat there at 1040. It just got railroaded, and then it just dropped on us. So that was a good trade. We're out a little piece there at 1040 for $4 there or so on a firm. No, sorry, $3.30. So a $3.30 win there on a firm. And we took that. We believed in this name. We called that yesterday for you guys at 91. It's up to 110 right now, and a firm just rocking and rolling. Good trade there. We talked about what we wanted to do on this, and that was wait. We wanted to be patient, right into this level. I mean, that's, that was exactly, rewind it, man. Rewind the tape. Don't do that because you want to watch us live, but if you do rewind, we were talking about getting involved at this level here, 106, 107. So a good little level there for a firm. Let's see where we go now. I still have targets to the upside even higher than this, so we'll hold on to one piece now. We still have a quarter left, guys, on this Affirm trade, so a big one for me.
AMC just went through 51. I think that's just going to be a hold. If there's air till, 52.50 would be interesting. I just got into a firm for the first time to that sell side trade. Couldn't have had the great short that you wanted off of that top. You had to have it in the pre-market. I'll now play it off of the opening range here, which is 111.50 here. I see, I'm not actually I didn't take anything out here as it is about 25 pennies in the money, or got to it at the 14 level. I'm looking to see it break that 14, get into this cluster here at 13.50, then take some profit out, then get some out in front of 13 even as well. So I want to see this actually flush, like a real flush, not like a 5, 10, 15 cent move. I think there's a heck of a lot more in it than that. Much more volatile stock. Might have looked to get horse in the mouth a little bit on EFTR, thinking we get back to these pre-market lows down at 26. It spiked to 26.80, so I could have taken off $4 there, but it's shown me no indication that I'm wrong with this one so far. So I'm going to hang on to it. Looks like we got the top, or at least close. I mean, top of the move. I didn't actually get the top as I'm short at 30.87. It did go up $1 higher than that, but caught it on the way down, not on the way up. That means you're not going to get the perfect price in the first place. So holding AMC, now into the firm short at 110 and hanging on to this IC, which is trying to break 14 for the second time. That endo, because I don't want to get too far away from these, that endo, the only good thing about this trade was the stop. I was able to, when I shorted this the second time off of 22.70, in front of that 75, I was able to get some out, and there was a hard rejection. The second I started taking fills at 64 to start covering this in this range here, it immediately spiked up. I didn't want anybody on that bid. It just spiked to the upside. I got to stop at 75, came right back into where I was shorting and bounced up. So it feels like the original short at 60 is going to be a bit of a level. Resistance turning into support here. If you're long in endo, I think you got covered to that 260 area, but if I was long, I'd be concerned about 260 breaking on endo.
All right. Yeah, and always try to look at a higher time frame as well, like that, to figure out where you're going to be right. Versus, oh no, this Ford chart. Yeah, damn it. Okay, so yesterday, like there's one wick on here that just throws this whole thing up. Affirm now $3 back into the money on that one. So, well, we've never been out of the money. But okay, here we go. So, darn it, this Ford chart back down to 1280. That's just what we want to talk about. That was a key level yesterday. It was actually 1270. Not much happening on Ford. I don't want to talk too much about it. Just it is at that key level that I did notice there one more time. Let's go over to Clover. That I think went down to 880, something like that. Here today, which is pretty low because we were just at 1150 on Monday, I believe, or Tuesday actually. But there, yeah, 880, 890 there for Clover. So what a dip down that was. That was a really fun trade yesterday for us on Clover, defending some of these levels 950. And then now today, man, we're right back into that again. So we'll have to watch out for Clover right here, back down to 890. It doesn't really have the moves in it today, so I'm not super excited about Clover right now. Ooh, that BBIG, Vinco Ventures, now starting to go 1150. Okay, that's a nice level for Vinco Ventures. We've seen this happen before. There it is right there in the pre-market, 1150. That's right where we're at again. On the daily chart here, we're starting to make new highs. We've seen 1190 before. So again, Vinco Ventures looking like it wants to keep going. That's what a story this has been. $2 last week or 2 weeks ago. Now you're all the way up to 12. So that one keeps on rolling up to 1160, 1164, 1165 there for Vinco Ventures. So a good look there for anybody that's on this name.
Yeah, just for Vinco, look on the 15-minute, 1175 looks like a bit of a thing here. That's where it spiked into, and that's the high of the day today. But you go back to the last time it tested these levels, and it was wicks up and failures, and then consolidation started about that 75 area. So there's room for a break, and just be careful. You know, BBIG it's definitely a halt candidate, right? Like things get out of hand there. I think breaking 12, you could see that type of move. It hasn't been really doing a lot of halting recently, but just watch out for 12. 75 looks pretty big. EFTR, we're going right back to this one. On the higher time frame, you can kind of see what I was getting at with that short and then stopping out here at 32. That's why we go over these levels in the pre-market, because when a stock like this makes a $3 or $4 run, if you didn't already have a plan of action at that price range, like you're not actually catching a short like this unless you knew you wanted to have it if it got into that price. So when it spikes up, you're ready and locked and loaded to go. But as it comes back in, you can't ignore 23 higher low consolidation, higher low consolidation, higher low consolidation. This top is 26, this top is 26. I'm just looking to get out in front of that cluster. I feel like if it breaks down, it might have support 24 and then support 22. If that level ever goes, that could be very, very interesting to the south side. I obviously just jumped into that Affirm position now. It's gone in the money like 60 cents, now in the money like 40 cents. Not a heck of a lot. Once it gets to like $1.50, then I would definitely be trimming some of it. And just want to come back over to AMC. I think this is one of those why not let it ride situations because, whoops, went the wrong way there. Why not let it ride situations? Like once you're breaking out from a level like this and then taking the 50 level from here, I mean, come on, like we're not going to get to 52.50, which would be right in here. That's on the daily chart, it just looks so small. But here, you're allowing it to run another couple of dollars. So as it retests back in, and I was going to say it was going to be a dip buy for me if it actually broke through VWAP here. It's bouncing off VWAP now. So I'm just going to hold on to the last of our AMC and enjoy the ride, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. We got to enjoy some rides here. AMC, a good one. Wow, 50. Okay, yeah, it's falling back down. Sorry, I thought it was coming back in a little bit more than that, but a good ride there. Nice one for sure on AMC. Okay, so just looking at here, Root is being squeezed. Is that true? Let's look at that. I did see someone post that up there. Thank you so much for Fuyayo. They're talking about Root. We'll see what it's doing here if it can load up there. What's up to Sam, Canadian investor? Hope you're doing well as well. We see you out there. Root not doing anything, so we'll go over to Brenda. What up, Brenda?
MRSN, guys, just noticed 32% downside here. Big volume went off through 9. Trying to hold on to 9 here. This is a cancer-focused therapeutics company. They had treatment on ovarian cancer. Some data came back on the negative side for that one. Also worth noting, selling in the market, accelerating here a little bit. Some of the short-sided ETFs popping up on volume.
Yeah, every day we talk about NEO, and normally I have it on my watch list, and every single day we've been trading NEO, and today it would have been the same thing. Buy these dips into these levels and then see what happens to the upside, right? So there was a play there on NIO, and we just didn't take it, but there it was to the upside to 39.50, so it comes back down, that's $1 straight up. And if you're just looking at this, I guess I got to get a 10-minute chart up. I'll do that, but let's do this 20-minute, and I'll call up a 10-minute after that. But we're right into this level again, 39.50. So it's not a surprise that we stopped there, and it's also not a surprise that we sort of resisted down there at 38.50. So these are kind of the levels you need to look for when you are trading NIO. So just be very, very careful about that. You should always go back just at least 1 or 2 days to see some levels because it's highly traded. 6 million shares, not huge, but you know there's a lot of day traders on that. So a lot of traders looking at similar levels. Go ahead, Neil, hit that button.
I got the perfect one here. It's the fist bump.
Yep.
We used to actually end the show with a fist bump every single day, and then COVID happened. I don't know why we stopped that. But Affirm, look, you got the dip buys off the bottom, but then you're able to still also take money off of the short side of the trade. So he's got the first leg out here. It happens to be VWAP. I know 108.50 here. Probably more. Look, it has more to do with the fact that this is where we checked up on that first dump down. That's why I'm going to definitely cover some shares here. So take the first little winner on Affirm. I want to be holding the rest at least until close to that bottom at 106. While that was happening, I see you. Oh, good.
You did it.
I might have just jinxed this one, but we'll see what happens with IC. And the reason I'm a little bit confident to hit that, despite the fact that I'm on the bid and haven't gotten this fill yet, is look what, in this consolidation off VWAP, it tried to break out, take out that 14 quarter mark, and then just whipsaw down. So the second that broke, someone jammed a sell order. That could be someone long jamming a sell, or that could have been someone initiated a short position. If you're short, you're kind of hoping it's the former, not the latter. But usually that's going to be preceded by or followed by a strong move into the downside. If I can catch that bid here, I'm already bidding in front of 13 as well. So showing some cracks in the armor there on IC. Speaking of that, at the same time, it's like, okay, yeah, all my shorts are working. And then AMC, the long that I was on, let's hold on to the ride at AMC. And all 3 shorts look pretty good. And then AMC does this to you. Right, so it broke that 50 level. I was looking to see it hold like a 49.85. It absolutely crushes through that. So it couldn't even observe that going on because it was just too fast. And now it's consolidating here above that 85 level. So at least the good sign is it's trying to check up here around where I thought there could be a bit of a dip buy. I'm going to hold off until it tests lower because it put in that bottom at 49.50, which is right around that pre-market breakout price. Let's be a little bit more patient with this instead of just jamming 85s. Clearly the bigger level seems like it's going to be that 49.50 here.
And here goes Affirm going right back to the upside right now, trying to take out some new levels. We've talked about this one. I still think we take out the high side here. So let's wait to see where Affirm goes from here. Now $4 in the money. So we'll fire off some hot dogs there, and hopefully we can both wind up winning on some Affirm here. I know Neil's already cashed in, but here we go. 112 now for Affirm. $5 in the money. Let's go Affirm. I mean, levels, I don't know. Let's just see if we can keep on going upside. $5 though. We don't want to, possibly turn this around, but at the same time, 112, 113. Let's just see if we take that out. I mean, the high of the day is 114, but we've seen this move come back side now. $5 winner on AFRM. So, hey man, that's a good one. Hopefully you're along yesterday, and then when we talked about it, then hopefully you're long again right now as a firm. Ripping faces off now, $5-6 almost in the money here. So we're pretty happy with this trade, guys.
IC just went absolutely parabolic, guys. Through it just broke 15. I think it's going to halt. Is it going to halt? Is it going to halt? I can't get to level 2 because I'm sitting here looking at it like it was about to halt to the upside. 15 even looks pretty redonkulous. There's a battle being waged here. I kind of want to give it a shot. 15, so like 14.65. Only because, come on, give me a break. I want to give you guys this level 2 if I can. Come on, IC. Come on, IC. There we go. Yeah, I was in the short, looking pretty good. It comes jams right. That's a firm. Give me a break. And then jams pretty good here, right through that high of the day at 15 even. I was able to quickly get some shares to the long side as that was happening. Apologies for not giving you guys level 2, but it is a trading show and there are trades happening here. I can't look the gift horse in the mouth. I thought this was going to be a halt into this level because 14, it breaks up. That's about 10% pretty quick. If it's not going to give me the halt, then I'm going to look for maybe taking some profit out, maybe in this quarter range, and then holding the rest. I think 15.50 could be a bit of a breakout trade, but I really, really want this to be like a halt entry type of thing. And it feels like it's just stalling out exactly at the halt bands, because that never happens, right?
No. Why would we ever want to do anything with halt bands? Okay, up to 112.50 right now for a firm. We just saw that happen. Went up to 113. So I think I'm going to put an offer now. See if we just cash this one out. Again, $5 now in the money on AFRM. If we can just take this out, I think it's well worth it. 12.75 though. Normally I like to trail these things and put out a lower offer, but 111. You know what? Maybe 111.50 is going to be a good out for us on AFRMs. Let's see if that is the case here on that one. So a firm, we're looking to make some moves here. 112.50 if we can on AFRM. We'll take that one out, guys. But a good trade so far on this name.
Yeah, and while all this is happening, now that IC is calming down a little bit, sort of sitting in the money like 20, 25 cents, I'll get some out here in front of that 15.50, but I do need to get back to that EFTR because position management does certainly matter, guys. It just ticked down again to 26, so this time missed it by 10 cents. Sitting on the bid at 26. I'm probably just going to go manual with this. We're sitting in the money about $4 here, and it's testing those lows. I see no reason yet to just be out of this trade. Forget about sitting on the bid. I'll allow it to travel even lower than this and start thinking about where my trail is going to go as we send you to Brendan for Happening Now.
Hey guys, yeah, quick check on North American markets. You can see we are pretty mixed overall for Friday. 0.18 for the S&P, the Dow just going negative here. But look at the NASDAQ. Tech stocks leading once again today, about 0.5%, both the composite and the 100. The Russell 0.4 here in Toronto. We are back in negative territory. Pressure for metal and material stocks to worry about today as well. Play, Dave & Buster's, one that we were talking about in the pre-market here. What a reversal that was. 41 straight through to 37.5. Absolutely slammed after that decent report, it would seem. The other one as well, Zscaler, just got absolutely clobbered right out of the gate. 290 down to 277, back into some levels from late yesterday. For ZS, guys, back to you.
Zscaler, why not? We talked about that maybe not being much of a trade, but AMC obviously was going to be one. It does turn around hard off of that 49.50. Never retests it. Going to be patient with it anyways as it tries to get back above that 50 range. I do feel after that bit of a flush, it's going to make sense to take some profit, 50s and 60s if we can. There's always a 51 break. If 52.50 is a target, there's nothing wrong with taking breakouts to the top and then looking for the next bit of a dip buy, especially when it came back in, stair-stepping down after parabolic up. That's why I'll be on the offer if it gets to that 50-50 range. And people can say like, it's like diamond hands this or diamond hands that. It's a day trade. It was never going to be held longer than the day anyway. So you got to think about it in those terms if that's going to be your time horizon. Of course, I see, and I can tell you right now that 99.9% sure that it was the halt band. And again, I don't have it displayed on level 2. I'll be able to tell you that was the resistance up at the top here. So if it resists the halt, comes right back in, the only positive sign to that reversal is the fact that it's holding out above these failed breaks, which is like 14.65 into 15. As long as it can hold that 65 level, good chance that it jams above 15.50. At which point it feels like maybe this is not going to be a halting stock because it has so much liquidity and then people getting out in front of levels like that. But above 14.65, it still to me is going to remain a long just because the upside is just so big if it does make a top end break. I think there's a lot of people that were like me, we're seeing the cracks, the kinks in the armor and wanting to be short this name. And I've had to think about where the exit is if they're still in it, because there should be a lot of shorts that are like, yeah, but short at 14.50, that's not too bad. And they could still be hanging on, which I think gives us some room to the upside still.
Yeah, I'm super impressed. I mean, today has been nothing has been a problem for us at all today. Unfortunately, SOS, we did take a long at 85 there, got it out at 05. That's 20 cents. We're going to be negative on this name. It's going to be the only one for us today, and it's a baby. But compared to a firm, that was $5, $7 winner if you took out the tops, which we actually talked about there. And I mean, look, just for education purposes, I mean, I didn't do this, but that was been a spot to sit at. We're talking about 114, and that's right where it came to the high of the day and then turned right around, right? So there was opportunity there for anybody to grab that short, and I should have. I was just staring right at it and didn't really do anything about it. So that's that trade there on the short. So that was a good one. AMC, I mean, we have the bottom wick and basically the top wick today. So bottom and top wickens here for AMC. I mean, 51 would have been the best, but I'll take 50.75 there instead. Obviously we'll take that. We take trade out of the quarters. So that's a nice move up there on AMC. Memes and movers coming in less than an hour, 11 o'clock with Trader Pratt and Miss V. So, hey, there's lots of these ones moving today. I'm sure they'll be talking about IC. I'm sure he's always talking about Palantir because I did want to give a big shout out to Trader Pratt for the hat. I guess I could probably wear the hat today. It's Casual Friday. But there we go. The Palantir investor is in the building. And we didn't invest in it today, but we should have because there it is. 26 bottom straight to the upside. Almost no pullbacks here. I mean, you get one little one there for 5 cents and then it rips up to the upside again. So right now, man, making dreams happen every day. Palantir, a nice little move to the upside as that keeps on going. My eyes looking everywhere now. A firm looks like it wants to go back to the upside. Apple making new news.
AMC just hit that 50-50, so I'll take that one out for profit. We'll take the money on that, but we'll go Gates of Hell to IC, which resists the Hull band and then comes right back to that 14.65. I'm going to allow this to just break the top or start halting. Otherwise, it's too choppy action for me. I'm going to stay away from it for now. Endo made a big move here. You can obviously see on the minute chart right into these levels. So previous bottom here, watch that 325. You got 350 where you had that pop down. So right into that cluster would have been that area of resistance. It does not get there. It stalls out. So anyone looking at the long side of the trade, it's kind of turned around at an obvious spot shy of that price. It hasn't even tested it. Look back to this original 290 pop and then see if that can be some support. I wouldn't be shorting it until that cluster of 25 to 50. Somewhere in that range makes a heck of a lot more sense to me after trying that 275 area and then having that fail. A firm does go all the way, of course, that Sean already mentioned, all the way to the top. I got an accidental long, which I didn't hold on to. I'm not going to do that anytime. And then it finally gives you that look. There's a big difference between shorting that pop at 930 and then doing it right here. I would have already been in this trade to the short side if this had happened in one move up instead of having come all the way down to a 105 bottom. It's already put in the bottom that would have been my out, which makes it a much more conservative trade the second time through. I need to see it failing at least twice off this level before I get into it. Again, we're going to be at that $4 mark on EFTR, and again, it's going to start running into like some bids. The volume is absolutely dying on this thing, but the problem is at any moment, if you look at what's happened in this stock the last couple of days, at any moment, this thing will just sort of barcode, and then could go. And you saw it happen like in the aftermarket, yesterday's action. I think we got this one at the absolute top, but I can't ignore that it's had all kinds of clusters to support and just basically barcoded all day long around 26. So I'm going to go with a trail. If it breaks back above, call it like 27.25, I'm just going to lock in the $3.50 on this stock, feeling like it doesn't want to go any further than that. Don't want to be throwing away the profit that you have when the stock has stopped moving. Miss V?
Hey Neil, I would like to attract your attention to Peloton. Stock is up around $6 today, guys. Could you take a look at Peloton?
Peloton, okay, yeah, here comes a firm right back again. Wow, what a move that was. Peloton, yeah, we talked about this the other day again, and I said that they had that pricing power, and they do. I feel like it's going to be like a Lulu, and this is why we talked about this off Lulu earnings, right? No matter what you think about their product, it's a solid bike for sure, and people apparently want to pay for it. So, hey, and they have the subscription model, and they just brought out a new model for their bikes, and they reduced the pricing of their current bike. So I guess it's their base model. But the point about that is that Peloton right here, we called this off this bottom. So, I mean, that's a good trade to the upside. We're now crossing through that 50-period moving average. I am a holder of Peloton stock, just around $100. We made that purchase a while ago and got that out about 140, 150 before it came all the way back down. But right now for Peloton, it's off to the races, man. That pre-market break. I don't know if there was new news today on this or not. I believe they caught an upgrade, but Peloton right now up to 114.50. I mean, this maybe we're shorting right here, guys. That's a big move up, 6%. I mean, look at this two-day move. Bang, bang, bang. So I think we'll maybe look at a Peloton short short now into that 114.25. Sounds like Brendan's got something on this. What's up, bud?
Yeah, the only other thing on them was, remember yesterday we talked about the apparel line. They were coming out with their own apparel line as well for PTON.
Take advantage. Sometimes it feels like to me like it's almost more of, it's not, I don't want to call it a cult. It's like a club. Being part of Peloton is like being part of a club. I think we talked about this at the draft as well. The markets get talked about at our draft because that's just going to happen every single time our fantasy
Why
football
would that happen?
Why would exactly? Why would it happen? But I want to get to ATER because on a monster move here. But look at this level. If you go right back to like when we opened here and deal happened, 1175 was the dip bottom. 1175 was when this actually started its breakdown towards a $3 stock. So you got 1150 to 1175. That's key on that daily. And look where we're getting into. And this is interesting because you have put in the lower high. That was your flush. Never got to the level. Sometimes if it gets there, it's more dangerous. And now you're essentially a breakout that a lot of people would have taken, which is 1145 or 1150 here, is stalling out right in front of that 75 area. So right in that target entry area where you'd have for a short is where it seems to be stalling out. Now, if you're shorting this, you can't really... I shouldn't say this. I should double check there because we actually have to pay for shorts. But if you're shorting this, you actually want to see it test that 1175 here, danger area. But I'm going to see how much it costs for ATER. I don't think this is the key price area here. I think I want it testing that 1175. That's why we went to the higher time frame. I've now put in that trailing stop, as I mentioned, on EFTR. So that is in. It cannot be any worse than, look, if it takes out, if it wants to take out that 27 quarter mark, guys, then I'm just going to get out here somewhere around that 27.50, sort of lock in that three and change. Otherwise, let's see it go all the way down to pre-market lows at 25 even and see if we can get out of it there. Affirm, I said I wanted, if I'm taking it the second time through and not getting the short that I wanted off the open, I want confirmation that they're done with this thing at the high of the day, which means I want it retesting the top. That hasn't happened just yet, but it looks like it's about to make that test at the high, 114.75. Call it 115 because I like to round up when it's a stock that has a 20-cent spread anyways. So it's about to test here. If it rolls over shy of that, then I would try it with a stop at the high of the day, guys.
Wow, firm just keeps on going. That's crazy. I wish we would have held that. I mean, that would now be $8, but it doesn't matter. We don't have it. But one thing we do have is Alibaba, and it just took off again off this bid. We didn't average into it. Probably should have, but you know, where do we go if we average in, right? I think that's part of the problem. So we'll just wait now to see what Affirm wants to, or sorry, what Alibaba wants to do. I still think we take out that 172. So we're going to hold that. I mean, the day just keeps on getting bigger and better. And this is the thing about my wife. Obviously, she's fantastic, but she sends me every week. It's from... I think it's from, it's actually just called Wine of the Weekend here in Toronto. They send you LCBO picks. So this is a Chardonnay. So I'm like, oh, this is good. You know, blah, blah, blah. It's a 2016. But the best part about it is, look at this. Check LCBO inventory. Price, $8. So there we go. $8.85. I don't even know if you can find a cheaper bottle at the LCBO than like, I mean, you could probably find one for $8 even, or I don't know. But it doesn't matter when you're throwing around nickels right there. So I like it when she sends me these wines of the week because then I don't have to worry about dropping those ducats on it. But today we have a lot. So you could have sent me some. Actually, she's probably listening. Yeah, no, today we're not making any money. This is a definitely appropriate wine of the weekend. But we do have some nice wines ready to rock and roll anyways. But I'll take that. A nice Chardonnay to end the season. It doesn't, Chardonnay actually, and Brendan, you can confirm this. Chardonnay doesn't need to be super cold. It's actually a good Chardonnay, I believe, is room temperature. Correct, Brendan?
Very, very slightly chilled. But yes, no, 100% I agree. Also, I hope you brought the SUV today because you should get a few cases of that at that price, Sean. What's that? Do you know that one? I do not. I've never tried that. PaySign, guys. Another one just popping up here. 2 days in a row, in fact, for Pays. Off to the races here. 21%. Just got a pretty hard rejection there, though, at 360, but huge volume on Pays.
Yeah, we'll have a discussion about that after, Brendan, because getting a case of a wine just because of the price and not knowing anything else about it, that's certainly interesting. I think it's an aggressive move, but I'm not going to be a hater on it. ATER does pull back off of now 1160. So now that you're back below this 1150 and previous high, at least trying to hold below it, I think you can go off the lower high. I would have much preferred this thing get to 1175, but if it's going to be failing down here, or at least attempting to fail down here, that could be interesting for an entry point. I said I'd get back to IC at some point. It is still like, Like this stock is still a tricky one here, guys. And it's as long as it's above this, like I guess 1385 to 14 battle area where it jumped off the last time, I still think you're in the danger zone for the short. And that means like, if you're buying these dips to the long, you have some obvious areas to get out. Unless we're below that 1385, I'm going to stay away from shorting that one altogether, obviously. And then we just had that double test on a firm, which we've been patiently waiting for. So there it is. That's 1475. That's 1475. And then sort of a rejection a second time through. Now this obviously is going to be setting up for a consolidation long breakup as well, but sometimes one of the things that I'll look for is if you're looking for short positions, a lot of times you want long entry points where people are at the other point where they're at the decision process as well. For that long, do they take profit? Do they get out? Do they take a breakout? Did they buy this dip? Like, what are they looking to do? And when that rejects a second time, if you were buying this particular dip here, you might be thinking about where is the exit, and you don't want to give it all the way back up. So for me, shorting 114, which I know 74 is the high of the day, you got to give it to 115 even. So it's like $1 and change is your risk on the trade. And then that first stop down where people are buying the dip, that's like $1.50, right? So right there, it's almost 1.5 to 1. And then down to VWAP is even giving you like a 3 to 1 style trade. So that's the idea that I'm looking for here. Obviously, if I'd gotten everything out on the first short, it would have been a heck of a lot better there. Instead, we get some out, and then we take the hit there. So that ends up a very close to flat trade. Let's see what happens. Not letting it get past the high of the day. I think at that point, I think it's obvious to say that the buyers are 100% in control if they get it through that high. Affirm, love the company. Just going to trade the price action here as well. So I'll get my stop order locked and loaded, ready to go. Make sure I don't miss out on it. Just had those two shorts. And then ATER, which I think is still, Patience-Ville, because it just popped back up. Now it's trying to test that 1175. That's the one we like from the daily chart, guys. So let's see what happens. If you're long this stock, I would be a little bit careful because 1175 is a monster level on the daily chart.
ABUS, we talked about Endo, we talked about IC today. We could look at ABUS here just to see what's going on with this one. It's a NASDAQ name, so we'll see 450, it's up 20% or so. And come on, starting to go. So it's getting right near a level here as a firm. Also, I know you're on that, so we won't keep talking about it. 454, 480 right now as this high for ABUS. And here it goes again. Like, we want to talk about these names because when you are trading some of these high flyers, like I keep mentioning, you have to go back to some of these key levels, right? And in the pre-market, you bounced around here, 435. So when you take this high out to 480, you drop back down to 420. That's fine. But then you get up and then you stall again here, and then we pop. So I think that was probably worth taking here around this 450 area. It's not like it's ripping high or anything right now, but ABUS, nice little move. Unfortunately, I can't remember what the news is on this, or I'm sure Brendan's probably talked about it, but ABUS right now, 13 million shares, looking to take out the top. 480 maybe. Let's check out what it looks like on a daily. So we're nowhere near that. Here it is. Again, go back. Look at some of these levels. We've resisted 5 a bunch of times. This may be a decent opportunity to go short here on ABUS. I mean, your risk is $5.30. So you're risking about 80 cents or so to the upside, and maybe we don't have 80 cents on the downside today, but that could be a decent risk, especially if it gets closer to 5, to short that into that 530, which is past highs back to February, March, basically winter times, even last year, back to 530. So there is a level there right now, and see if Brendan has something on this.
I was just going to show you guys this headline right here. This was yesterday, but we saw in the daily chart there the big move yesterday. They had a patent dispute with Moderna that got settled, it looks like yesterday, in their favor. So that caused the move yesterday for ABUS.
I was literally just saying, Sean, I had 2 stops on a firm, so actually went long there at the same price, literally at the same price. And then, of course, it's going to be a failed break through the top. While that's happening, I'm going to sit there and be like, what the heck did you just do, Neil? And then ATER is going to actually make its break towards that top at 1170 as well. So this is topping out here at 1170, 1175 is that big level on the offer. All this while, and this is going to seem ridiculously random, and I apologize for this being random because I don't think we've even mentioned Baidu at one point today.
Did not.
But I'm just going to throw this one out here. This broke out through pre-market highs at about 167 here, and has just been bouncing off of this 166.75 area like not a million times, but like 5 or 6 times. With the market coming back in, Baidu through 166.75 as a short. I know that seems like it comes out of thin air, but the second I saw this one on the chart, I was like, ooh, that's pretty interesting. I don't know why someone's buying it up. If there's an iceberg there, I'll let you know, but I just pulled up the level 2 a couple of minutes ago myself.
This is nuts, man. I mean, we're looking around here. I'm trying to find out. Neo's moving that ATER. A friend of ours was asking us about that, and that's starting to make moves to the upside as well. So, yeah, lots and lots and lots of stuff happening here. We still are holding on to our Alibaba trade. I mean, this is the one. Let's go Alibaba. This is the one trade here that I'm interested in. I mean, it's the only position I have on right now. So we'll wait to see where it goes. But a 170, I'm still looking for that break to the upside, and I'm trying to find a way to get into Neo here. We are right back to VWAP again, but see the Nasdaq's come back in here, and the S&P is actually floating around zeros right now. So not really sure about the market, but the Nasdaq's trying to bounce. So, and I don't know, Neo's doing almost the opposite here and still falling to the downside. So I think we can try this around 39 and see if that holds. Maybe taking out around, yeah, I mean, that's 38.99. That's nothing. We got to wait for a little bit lower, but we've done a nice pullback in here on NIO, and I don't really know why this is happening. So Neo pulling back in here. This could be worth a bid, I believe, at this level. So let's do that and see if we hold out on 39.
So ATR again testing 75. It looks like it's every time it tries to break, got to 76, just got to 78, and starts turning around again. But the level's pretty weird. Like the spread opens to 3 or 4 cents, and there's a lot of algos sort of sitting around. But someone just asked about DD thoughts. We love this 875 level. Didn't think we get a chance at it. Then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. If Baidu was making a break downside, just heard Sean talk about NIO. Yeah, DD right at that 875. Well, I mean, no, it's not. It's at 880, technically speaking. But guess what you see on the level 2 here? That's not nothing. That's 700,000 shares at 880. That's 300,000 shares at 879. So there's a little bit something brewing on DD, which this is what the minute chart looks like. Again, that's why the advantage of the level 2 matters, and always go to that higher time frame to see what someone's buying in front of. And that's these levels here. So excuse me if I happen to join them on the bid. I really don't have any problem doing that. So we'll jump in and try to get like some 881s. I'll even let 880, that 879, let it break, man, because this is 875 here, and then right down here is like 872. So if you're willing to give it a little bit of room, there's buyers on DD that are stacking that bid. I'm still taking the Baidu breakdown because it just looked too good on that minute chart there. But DD, this is to me just trying to get filled on the bid at 881. Maybe even scalp some of this out here if it pops in, 5, 10 cents, because your risk off those big buyers isn't a heck of a lot. Like if you were to take half out, say when like 80 or 79 broke, hold on to the rest to give it to that 870 level, and then just start taking 5 pennies, 10 cents, that kind of a thing. If you have direct market access, and that's the kind of trade you're going to want to make. I mean, you can tell there's probably someone that just did that for 20,000 shares. They probably just took the 82 level and then sitting on the bid for the second half of it there. You can see on ARCA. So there's probably a lot of traders doing that kind of a trade, which does mean, whoops, and we'll go over here to the minute chart, which does mean if it spikes up, there's going to be sellers at 85 and sellers at 87, 88, 89, that kind of a thing. So it might take a while for this move to happen if it's going up.
Okay, so Neo, we actually did ring the register a little bit there on Neo, out right there at VWAP at 21, because we got basically 14s, out 21s in just a matter of seconds, and now we've reloaded again, so now my average price is 11 on Neo. We're going to give this one back down here to 38.80 or so on that kind of a break. So if we break there, we will get out of NIO, but right now we are back long, and if we can get a bid back down in here into the 25, an offer, so back at VWAP, then we will do that, but we can't leave Brendan for too much longer. What's up, Brendan, over there at the big screen?
Hey guys, yeah, small cap time. Let's talk one more time about this IC. We were just before the open, I mentioned this 1375 was a little bit of a pivot in the pre-market. Still, the stock was trending higher, showing all kinds of strength in the pre-market. Does break back below. So that's what triggered me into the initial short. I took 2 more shots at this thing. Obviously, it's super thin. The lack of liquidity here is pretty dangerous. So be careful if you are trying to look to the downside for this. For me, has to trade back through this area now. So if we get a move back down to 13, maybe a test from below of 1350, that would get me involved again. But not a lot of liquidity in IC, so be careful if you are trading that one. That is not the other one I wanted to mention. BBIG was a pretty good mover back to the downside today. And then there was one more that I'll come back with. Guys, back over to you.
So that DD trade, like I said, I'll get on the offer. Is it stress spike up? It just got a couple of pennies to the upside. But if you're trading it off a level like that, you have to be willing to take it, I think, out on some of those moves, like as it goes up incrementally there. You're playing off size and using that for cover. That's what you're going to do. Remember that random Baidu? And I know it's of course, we cover all the stocks and go through all the levels we look at. Every now and then, something is going to be on my quote board, and I'll just see the price and I'll see the chart, and it's going to be a new entrant for me, and that is going to be Baidu, as some of the Chinese names came in, as the market came in. I just saw that break here and said, okay, I want to be able to have that. I think if it gets down into like this 166 bottom, it's an obvious place to take out like a 50-cent scalp win. It's not a ton of volume, but again, sometimes something just piques your interest when you look at the chart, so that's what we're going to go with here. That ATER does pop, so finally it looks like it's gotten through, trying to get through that 1175 that we talked about, at least on the daily chart. You're going to see my stop order if 12 even does break here. Before jumping into the buy side, I kind of just wanted to see some confirmation up here. And this is what we're getting at. Like, when this stock found a temporary bottom, was all the way to the 75 level, and then you had a flush through 75 and then 50 on the way down here as well. It obviously made a hard bottom, and you get up into this price. Probably not a bad idea for a short trade if you liked it off of 12 even. I'm going to go with the long break instead. Baidu about 20 cents of the money. I'll take some out at 50. And then, of course, DIDI. Like I said, we could be in DD for a while because people are buying in front of that level that we saw in the level 2 there. And as long as that's going to be the case, you always put things into perspective, right? Like, as long as there are people that are buying in front of, that obvious buyer, it was like a million shares at 79 and 80 combined, there's going to be, like, every couple of pennies, day traders that are just throwing offers in and stalling moves by putting in like 50,000, 100,000, or 10,000 share orders, things along that nature. So here's level 2 on DD, just so you can get an idea of what that's going to look like every now and then. You're just going to get, like, it'll start to go through a level, and sometimes someone will just pop in their shares there. Like someone that bought that 82 could be sitting there at 83 for like 10,000 shares, and that'll make it slow. But that's fine. As long as it's in the money, that's okay. It's done the volume that it can chew through some of these levels. It's done 5 million in shares. I'll start taking it out when it breaks this 85, and then we'll get, sitting here at 85, like we said, 87, on the way up to 90s. I'll hold some in case it goes all the way up to $9, but as long as that buyer is there, I'm buying in front of it on DD. Brennan?
I just saw that APLS popping back up again, trying to get back to the upside. I wanted to mention this SOS. I was looking a little bit higher. I know Sean was talking a little bit lower, but if you go back on the daily chart, there was 335 to 340. That did give you a little bit of an opportunity. But I mean, these things aren't really doing anything, just kind of chopping around, going sideways at the moment. BBIG was the other one, 1160 up to 1180 if you go to the daily chart. Starting to creep back to the downside here, guys. Watch out, there's support. 1080 from yesterday on that one.
Okay, so yeah, thanks, Brendan, for some of those levels there. And yeah, SOS was a decent trade. I mean, we lost money. It's our only negative stock today on SOS. Because again, we took a pre-market trade. Like, I don't know why I keep screwing those up in the pre-market, but that's okay because we are back now and ready to rock and roll. So someone, again, thank you to one of our, not a new member, but he's been a member for 2 months there. Thank you so much to Magnum King right there. And because you're a member and because you did this air horn and this money mouth face, as it says, money mouth face, then we will talk about Clover because hey, we love our members and thank you for supporting. If anybody is not a member, please subscribe. $5 a month, and we're just to support the show. Okay, downside right now, $9 here for Clover. What a great run that was, man. We even talked about that on that day. We had all the longs. If I put on my fills here, you'll see what I'm talking about. Oh, nope, didn't work. But anyways, it did 2 seconds ago. That's why I took them off. But okay, Clover now. We were trading this like madmen yesterday and the day before. But right now we're into this level. And unfortunately, we're starting to crack now. And I don't really see anything down here, guys. I mean, I talked about waiting for another reload down here at 850. For me, it's not spicy enough right now to do anything on the daily chart. And this is a 10-minute chart, so we're zooming back in. Kept the chart super clean, just looking for price action here. And unfortunately, I think we got to wait till we get back in here. I like this break of 920 though. If we can break through 920 and get through some of this, and people will say, oh, there's a bottom at 9, then we can get going. So remember, Clover has no problem moving. Even though it's a $9 stock, you can get a $1 win on this. So I don't think if we take 920 that we're worried too much about getting out around 950. That'd be a good trade. So I'm going to put that on for Clover right now at 920, and we'll just see. It's near the high of the day. We are starting to base out a little bit here. I can't fault anybody for trying to go long in this area, but 890 or so, a good one. I just think we can fall down to 850 at some point. So if that's your risk reward, I think Clover's a great long-term buy here. We've already resisted off 7. I mean, if you can't hold a $9 stock down to 7, then perhaps you're putting too much money in. So I would just say wait on that one for Clover. But right now is not a horrible spot to start putting in some money into this name. I like Clover Health. It's in the right space. Everything about it makes sense. Ethereum back down to 32.50 right now, and that's what that story is on Bitcoin and on Clover. And then just to give you guys another update here, what we're doing on NIO on the 1 minute chart. We've just been buying dips, man. Our best one's 307. That's where you're seeing we're long now, 39.08. 10 cents now in the money. We'll just keep on, scalping this one through. Now we'll wait for a higher highs here and see if we take out 39.50.
Yeah, and just to give an update on DD, it's a different, again, it's always a different style of trade in front of that size, but like you mentioned, sitting on the offer 85, got some at 87, 88s, sitting here 89s, got some 90, 91. In this cluster, I still have half the position on. When it gets into this cluster, at least before, that's why you want to make sure you have half of it out. When it gets into this cluster, I'll definitely take another at least third out of it, and then hang on to like 15%, like 10%, if it were to break out and make that run into 9 even. And that's more to do with it's a good it's not like it's a bad level. It's a great level to be buying and holding in front of, but there's a difference between that and, oh my goodness, look at ridiculous size in the bid. Let's just go in front of that size. That style of a trade is always going to be more of a scalp trade. And then, this 890 this is what you see here. Every time it's bounced off of this, you had support, you had chop there, you had support, you had support. So of course, I think this support could turn into a bit of resistance in the short term, and that's why we want to take some out in front of that 890 level. So a little bit of aggression there. ATER is still checking up at that $12 level, at least last I can see. But it is still looking relatively bullish here as it's just held, and it keeps on doing this, right? Like it dips right back into, failed to break, dip right back into that first pullback and hold. This time it actually, it broke that 1144. That was kind of a random price. And when it stalls out at 12 even, it goes right back into this cluster here and holds the previous breakout price of 1160. Even maybe shook some people out. So it's still on its way to the upside. There hasn't been that, I want to say outside of the open, that back-breaking moment where you can really, sort of jam it to some short sellers or even threaten some kind of a halt. But that's what I see on ATR right now, getting to that 12 even area. As it goes, I definitely want to take some quickly out if I can on a breakout trade and then see if we can't hold the rest on a bigger move. But I don't want it to be a fake. If it's a failed break, you can't hold it past 1150 in my opinion.
Failed break, fake. Yeah, I like that. Fake, failed break. It's a good one there. Okay, just looking here at AMC, someone said, why am I shorting this? Yeah, I ain't short AMC, my friend.
Who's short AMC?
Nobody. And all we've been doing is long. And I just want to say congratulations because we're spinning it.
Money, 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 money.
And I mean, we went to the carnival with this one today. And I mean, we were long in the pre-market, man. We went long right on that dip, 49. We just put our order there, sat there and took that. And now you're $2.50 in the money if you did take it. And I did, but I don't have diamond hands like maybe you guys do. So we're in, and out right there for 50 cents. And then we take that 49.50 long, and then it's just cash money to the upside there, 50 cents there, and then that $1.20 or 30 on that. So we've just rinsed it a couple times, but unfortunately, you guys are, I don't know if you're right or wrong, but I am not right now in this name. So there you go. We are not in AMC as it's starting to rip to the high side. Wish we were. We're only in NEO and Alibaba. And Alibaba was a small position. We are getting to a spot now where we need to make up our minds. Are we either buying more right now of AMC or are we not? Or sorry, of Alibaba. It's one or the other. So let's just call it up right now on a 10-minute chart. And again, each one of these breaks is going to be a day. We've already resisted this a couple times, so we do have some support down at 169.50, but that's right where we are right now. So 169. So I think we're going to watch out for 169 to break. If that does break, then we're going to make a decision. So we're going to average into this one just one time and watch out for 169. But look at the market, man. We're coming to the downside. I'm glad we took out the profits here on NEO. I may take out one more spot before this market does crack. The S&P went red.
Oh shoot! I hit the wrong one. I should never hit the congratulations when you just mentioned that we're heading to the downside on some of the crypto names there. But anyways, we'll hit it anyways on ATER. It does make that 12 break. Like I said, breakout trade, always going to scalp some out here. Got some out in the 15 range, then some out here in the front of the quarters. Now you're testing 1250. It's just chewing through levels. I kind of felt like this could have gone parabolic, but every quarter and 50, there are offers that are showing up. I went the wrong way. There's always offers that keep showing up here before they get taken out. There was just one, I swear, 1250 just had 800,000 shares on the offer that got chewed through. I was kind of hoping it would go like halt parabolic. That hasn't happened yet on ATER, but I can't look at this 13. If it resists a halt, I'm out, right? Like this should be threatening a halt at 13 break, and if it resists that, I do want to get out. That means you can't go any higher. The bids start stacking up. That's what you'll see. And then in that 15 seconds, if it doesn't halt, I'd be looking to jam out, so maybe put a stop order or manually get out of the trade. Hasn't gotten to that point yet, but ATR, big runner. I know a lot of you guys had this one early, so congratulations to you. Maybe that's why I was hitting.
Congratulations.
If you had the original break at 1050, wowzers, this one is strong. Having some resistance at 13, some of that has to do with the fact that it's an even number, but also the fact that 12 even break, I mean, dollar to dollar, I mean, that's just going to happen sometimes.
Yeah, we're out of our Neo, so there's no congratulations there as that takes out the bottom, and now we got flat on the trade. Like, damn it. We just should have just kept scalping that and taking some profits, but we were waiting for bigger upside on that one. So one of my favorite stocks right now, and it's been like that for a while, is going to be Facebook as far as an investment is concerned. You know, up to 3, I mean, is that new all-time highs? I mean, I don't even know what Facebook's all-time high is. We will have to look that up. But now the market's coming back in. I wonder if this is a good time right now. Facebook's all-time high, 284.33. So, I mean, we're basically 50 cents away from all-time highs. So when people are talking about buying the dip, I mean, here's a name that I think everybody needs to have, and that's Facebook. What's up, Brendan?
A little shipper, it looks like, just popping up here. SB, Safe Bulkers, 6.5%, big volume spike there. It's pretty thin as well, but recent highs here. There's an ugly wick on our daily chart. 425, a level for SB, but pretty quiet if you're looking at that one. Let's get looks, speaking of, how things are shaping up over in Europe today. Final day, about an hour left in the session over there. Miss V, how are things?
Hey Brandon, European markets are mostly negative today. Fresenius Medical Care trading in Germany is down more than 4% after JP Morgan downgraded the stock to underweight. Back to you.
Yeah, selling accelerating here in North America as well, guys.
So the random stock worked out here. We'll do this one. I don't know why I hit this walking on whatever the heck this stuff is. But yeah, that Baidu breakdown, it tries to retest 167, failed rollover. Just got some out there. Like I said, we'll take a 50-cent win on the first of it because that is the pre-market low. So why not look a gift horse in the mouth? I've tightened my stop up. We'll go to like 167 and a quarter. So this won't be a losing trade no matter what. Just to pop in the higher time frame. A lot of these stocks, people say correction, barcode. It's been essentially barcoding since breaking off of that bottom, and a lot of the, I guess, Chinese-related names have been doing that. When you pull out the 15-minute chart, however, right, like, look, you're not going to ignore the fact this was previous support that got absolutely trashed earlier this week, right? It got crushed when it broke 166. So I want to hold on to some in case it makes that break, because I think you're heading right down into 163, 164, and then you're talking $2.5, $3 type winners. But if it bounces here, there's no way I'm not giving this all the way back to 168, 169. Feels kind of reckless here. Market is coming in my favor, so I got to stop in. There's no way I'm taking this out. If it breaks the bottom, I'm waiting until it gets into this 63, 64 range. So let's see if we can give some room to this random Baidu trade where the stock just, I mean, the level 2 just kind of look really, really good. For those of you guys looking at DD, it did come all the way back. Like I said, take half out. Well, I mean, I took half out and had offers all the way through. Still have them up there. As it retests 880, that bid is gone. Right, so that the 880 bid is no longer there. The bid is still there at 79. So if you're going to see me not reload, it's because that 700,000 shares that was on the bid at 80 no longer there. You still have some cover at that 79 level. But the only reason why I'm not getting right back into shares is because the lack of that bigger buyer that was at the even dollar, guys.
All right, I want to say thank you. A big shout out to Magnum King. I see you, bro. I know what that's for. So thank you so much to Magnum King. That wine was $8.75, so thank you so much, Magnum King, for that one. Clover's coming back down. Apparently, I'm just seeing that on the chat. We can look at Virgin Galactic for sure. Let's just check out Clover. I know it's a name that I just talked about. Ooh, yeah, it is coming back. I mean, there's that level. We talked about this on the 10-minute chart, right? I mean, I think that you can get Clover to 850 at some point. I mean, I know that's going to be pretty much near its all-time low, but hey, I don't mind this name. It does have its opportunities to get back to the upside. I like this space of former Chamath SPAC. So, you know, there is something here. We'll wait to see. Probably still highly shorts. We will have to find out what's going on with that one. HXL, people talking about with some news on. I don't know this name, so I don't know what it is. $58, but $58. Okay, what is this name? HXL here. Hexel Corporation. Wow, yeah, big news, big spike up. The chart's not even loading, but this is a big move here for Hexel, up now big time from 54 to 59 right now, just gapping. There's obviously some kind of news there on HXL. You can see the volume, nothing yesterday, and then out today, it's really getting ramped up there. So probably some sort of, I don't want to say a deal news, but we'll find out what HXL is when we get Brendan on that one. Any making moves to the downside as well. Wow, that is going off right now, HXL.
Crazy.
Over $60 right now and still making moves. So there goes HXL. If you guys are on that, good, and thanks for bringing it up. We will find out more about that one.
Absolutely. We'll get that one fired up there. ATER, it looked like it was trying to shake out here at that 1250 range. I'm still sort of hanging on to this one, thinking like, I just sort of felt this one was going to be a potential halt style play or an even bigger run than it's already been. It just checked up. Remember 1225, the last out there? It just checked up at that same price after trying to shake people out here. I kind of feel like I want to give this one all the way back into that break-even range, especially given this is what the daily chart looks pretty good on the stock, and through that 1175, if you can hold that line, it does feel like there's definitely room to run. You can't ignore 13 even this time through. If it were to fail a second time up there, I would definitely take some shares out. That low of the day is now, well, I probably just jinxed this. Yeah, I just jinxed that. I was about to say that low of the day breaking on Baidu. It took out the low, got like a couple of pennies, and then came right back in. So I probably just jinxed myself with thinking this thing was about to flush. I'm not going to move my stop, but that little random trade that we had on Baidu is starting to work out. Brendo?
Looks like some chatter, guys, surrounding that Hexel, HXL, and Honeywell. So this is in the aerospace sector, this Hexel. Someone talking about 3 Honeywell jets spotted near Hexel's HQ. So again, Hexel makes aerospace parts. So Honeywell, Hexel might go together there. There's some rumors flying around. I'll keep digging, guys, on HXL.
All right, thanks. Thanks for that. And yeah, that makes sense. I mean, always got to do that due diligence. You see the jets flying around, maybe it means something. So we'll find out about that one. Up to $60. That name. Thank you.
Look at this
Brendan.
level on the daily chart, 60. Like,
yeah, but I mean,
if I knew what, like this, yeah, you got to know you got to really know what's going on. But I mean, you look at what's been a big level here at 60 on Hexel, and I want to be involved with it. Obviously, taking a parabolic mover and playing a reversal here off of an even dollar when it's already broken and turned once through 60. This is a really good setup, guys. Oh, Bailey Decker there, beer for the Packer game Sunday. There you go.
Oh,
Sean.
I'm all about that, Bailey. Just PM me at any time, and you and I.
They're in trouble.
Can go. What? They're not. I mean, no. I honestly, besides Tampa, I don't see. I mean, they have to be the NFC favorite, right? I think in Vegas they are. What's his name has something to prove, Mr. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, he does.
Reigning MVP there, Aaron Rodgers, and I don't actually mind handing the keys over to Jordan Love, but it will be a rough time if that has to happen. So I just hope we don't lose Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
That's sort of what I meant. Like I think this year I'm sort of with you.
Motivation year for
this is the motivation year.
Right.
Like the only team, I think the Rams are a bit of trouble as well for the entire NFC. But the Packers should have runway, but they got to win it this year because I don't see them returning.
Bailey, just PM me
They're
on
losing those
Twitter.
Yes,
you know what? It could all be smoke and mirrors. We'll wait to see there what Aaron Rodgers can do. He brought back Randall Cobb, so maybe they're giving him a little bit more love than they were before. Yeah, he's not old at all. Okay, back down here. Whoops, there's my affirm trade. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that pullback. Missed it because we've just been sitting here talking about other names and other things. But if you are looking, this is volume weighted average price, right? You don't need to do anything other than set it on your chart. We use it on a 1 minute. There's nothing about it. It just adds up the volume. And then divides it by whatever the time frame is. So you can look up VWAP. We do have some videos on that. It's one of my favorite looks for Neil and myself, and it's probably the only thing that we have on other than a 50-period moving average. Well, yeah, volume.
I always say that. We always have volume.
We do have volume up. Yeah, didn't know we had to say that. But anyways, down here to 111. So that just cracked. And then ripped right back to the upside there. So VWAP for a firm seems to be something to look at for me anyways. And I hope you guys look at that as well. Alibaba, we are are, just to give you guys my bid, 169.38 is my bid. And you know where we stopped at? 42. So I think we could probably, I mean, it's not like it's a big win now. We'll come back down here. We'll take one more long. And then we talked about where we'll get out of this one. We went down to a 10-minute chart. And I just want to see what happens here at 169. We'll get out a little bit lower than that if we have to. But right now, that's my feels on Alibaba.
Wow.
We'll take one more long on this one. And the Chinese names have honestly, man, I mean, you can do this. That's a Chinese name, but they have not been trading that well, Brendan, as you know. Didi, Dada, Baba. I feel like
I'm gimmick trading Didi today.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so when I say gimmick trading, I just mean like buying in front of size. Like, it's not. There was a technical level there, and I'm using it, which I thought was a great technical level for a scalp trade because it was size there as opposed to it. I want to quickly say CEI here. We're going to go to Brendan in a quick second, but CEI breaking through a big 155 level. This is a multi-day rally, and I'm just looking for a confirmation of a top before I look to trade against this thing. And there's no levels that I see on the daily chart, so I'm sitting it out. But that's a big level break when it took out that 155 and then held 155 on a dip. Wish I had that one long. If you're long up here, I mean, above 150, that's your clear support level. Probably some room to run. I got to dig on this one a little bit more. Brendo?
It's this Gordon Haskett, which is a fairly well-known advisory firm, Gordon Haskett Research, that's reporting that HXL, guys, in Honeywell. Some Honeywell jets spotted around the HXL manufacturing facility. So that's really all I can see on that, guys.
I should have just, I don't know, my gut was telling me that you just got to short a level like that when you see on the daily chart. Like, but you don't want to do it blind. So this is a learning experience, but like, you don't want to do it blind. And that was not getting that update, and that's why we wait for Brendan to let us know what's really going on there and who's where the chatter is coming from.
Yeah.
But you see a spike up like that, and it's like on a real. I hate the term real company, but like 5 billion market cap, right? So you get a bit of a move like that on what seemed a little bit speculative, and right into that 60 level. It had already broken 60. It got up to like 60.20 and had come back in, at which point, as I slide back over, it was giving me a chance to short it in that 59 range. Gave you 59.5 there to give it to the high of the day. Now it's all the way back to VWAP, and there's just no trade to be had. At this point here, like, I'm not going to be buying this dip unless if it wants to give everything back and you can buy off of 54 and 54.5, fair enough. But at this point, I wouldn't be chasing it. I can kick myself over this, but I'd rather not have just jumped into the too willy-nilly. Let's go to Brendan right now for Sector Watch. This market, please don't give it back. We wanted to have one update this week.
Yeah.
Hey guys, 5 in a row setting up here to the downside for the S&P. It's only 0.2, lots of day left. Let's keep in mind. I want to start far corner over there. That big red box is Kroger, now 9% to the downside. So we kind of, we looked at it, talked about it briefly, but big move down for KR today. Speaking of airplanes, here's all of the airlines right here. Transportation stocks under pressure today, led by the airlines, UPS notably stronger than the rest. CHRW also to the upside. The rest of the travel group here also in the red. Cruise lines, hotels also under pressure. Hilton positive, Starbucks positive. The rest though to the downside. Tasco, Etsy, eBay positive in the consumer discretionary group. It's all coming down to these two though. Healthcare stocks very negative. Led by CI right now. ANTM and CNCE 3 to 4% in negative territory. Trying to be offset by tech stocks, specifically some of the chip makers. I mentioned Brendan to the gate this morning. Chip stocks were very, very strong. NVIDIA to the upside today. There's AMAT as well, 2.7. Micron, 1.8. TER, 2.6 to the upside. Software names are weak to the downside, so there is some weakness in the tech group itself. But tech stocks and healthcare kind of battling it out here for the day, it would appear. The rest of the market pretty choppy, as you can see. But again, just 0.2 to the downside, guys, for the S&P. Back to you.
I think I might have just looked at gift horse. A lot of times we'll come back from Brendan. It's like, yeah, we're going to have a winner on. Remember that dip buy on ATER? I mean, took the break and looked the gift horse in the mouth up at 13, obviously, and then bought back in here right in front of 12 again. I'm sitting here just in front of 1240, trying to get that win. I don't know why I'm not just taking the quarters out like we did last time. That feels like probably the more responsible thing to do. So I'll see if I can, of course, the second that you throw an offer in there and it just drives the price down. So we'll see if we can't get, just got some out there at 25s, in front of 25s at 24. And look, at the end of the day, this stock, I want to go to IC in a quick second, but that stock is ridiculous, first of all. This stock as well just has these like little clusters where it feels like the algos are in completely control of it. And I feel like the first time through was a trap, getting out of 25s. There's no possible way that it'll do exactly the same, right? There's no possible way to do the exact same thing on a 12 long again, where it traps you into getting out of 25s, then you're staring at a move that goes all the way to 13. This time, if it goes up to 13 and turns, I'm 100%. If it touches 90s, I'm throwing in a trail at 1275 for sure on this thing, because it's been ridiculous. And then IC, which, if anyone's having success trading IC, I'll so clap for you. This, I don't even know what to make of how sideways this is going on 90 million shares worth of volume. The algos are in 100% control of this one. It just doesn't want to go. I thought after this spike to the upside, it was gangbusters, we'll be off to the races, and then it's been barcoding. So this dollar range back and forth, back and forth. I maintain that I'm doing nothing till it takes the high or breaks 1385 into the downside. So let's just go with either one of those two things, and to go all the way back into Baidu, the random trade from earlier. If it breaks to 167.25, I'll get out. I definitely jinxed it. It had taken out the low. It went like 5 cents. I was ready to celebrate that it was breaking the low, heading down for like a $2, $3 winner, and then it immediately turned on me. So that's me jinxing myself there. Somehow, the buyer on DD both went away, and then somehow the stock went up anyways, right? Why did that happen? I'm going to guess it's because when you go to the higher time frame, it is still a big support level on DD down here at that 875, 880 range. So we're bouncing off there a second time. I didn't re-up at that position because the buyer was there gone on that 700,000 share offer or sort of bid there. But I will still take some out of that 87, 90. As we're scalping it the way up. There's still a buyer a penny lower at 79 for 300,000 shares, which does give you some cover. That's where my out is going to be on DD.
And hide yourself right now because you get a little belly dance action coming out there. As there it goes, man. Alibaba with a nice little reload there. We didn't wait. I mean, I had enough was enough there. Just staring at this thing, just resisting this 169.50. So we said forget about it. And I mean, you saw me buy this 169.57 there, and then out at 90 even there. So a nice 40-cent win in just a matter of minutes there for Alibaba. Now we'll hold out the rest and see if we can get this 170.20 right in here. That'll be a piece, and that'll give us 70 cents again. So what we had a $5 winner on a firm or more, 107 here, out 112. Yeah, so that's $5 there on a firm. And now we'll look to see if we can't get 70, 80 cents or more on Alibaba to wrap it up. AMC as well, man. I mean, what a big run that was. Unfortunately, we didn't hold to the top. We did talk about AMC though. And then looking at these levels in here, 54, 55. I mean, what a great run off the bottom. Like this has gone from $30, like, guys, August 4th, so a month ago, $30. Now you're at $51. Just keep that in mind if you are still one of those apes that is holding out for the moon. I mean, that's a big move there for AMC. So please keep that in mind. The only losing stock today, SOS, still not doing anything. They did have that report. Came out real early. We got super excited about it. And then right here, that's the wrong chart. We got super excited about it right here. We went short. Short looks like that would have been fine if I just did nothing. The short would have been fine, but we went long. Then we bought the bottoms and got out some there. But anyways, back and forth. There's nothing on SOS. I wish there was more to show you on that one. McDonald's continues, man.
I want to update two things quickly. EFTR, I did get trailed out of that. You'll see it's no longer there. The trail out happened at 27.25. It's really slowed down and stopped moving. But that CEI that you guys are all, that everyone's looking at, that did do a bit of a pullback. Shout out, I saw some people in the chat talking about a February resistance at 180. You're 100% right. When I pulled the chart back, I did find that it has turned shy of that, but it is still above that 150 to 155 area where it had the breakout. So still a mover. Speaking of that, yeah, we're about 10 minutes away from memes and movers. I kind of have a feeling CEI is going to be one of those names for sure, guys. There's almost no way that it's not going to be ATER, of course, also on the move. Some of the Chinese names, I don't know. They kind of really slowed down a little bit here, but keep in mind that CEI for sure. And IC, I don't know if it's going to be there because the algos are in control, but if it breaks its range, up or down, it almost doesn't matter at this particular point. This one, a steady mover because the amount of shares it's churning through still between $14 and $15, if it breaks out of the range, there's probably going to be some people caught holding the bag in either direction.
If you're looking for another trade here with only 9 minutes to go, thank you so much, Carlos Gomez, first of all. We're really glad that you made money on a firm. So did I. It's my number one stock here today, AFRM. So good trade for you. Thank you for always watching as well, Mr. Gomez. So thank you for that one. Okay, let's just keep going then. Why not? NIO, just as I was going to say there before we thanked Carlos, again, right into these pre-market levels. Like nothing wrong with dipping in a little bit right now if you're not in already. I'm in Alibaba, so I think we'll watch that for a little bit. But if you didn't have any exposure, NIO is in a horrible spot right now because you do have 38.50 staring you in the face. So I think I'm going to wait a little bit more to come down here to 38.60 and change. But NIO right now resisting a little bit, trying to find some support, and I do believe it has some at 38.50. Even if you look at a 10-minute chart here, here's 38.50 yesterday. So you could dip a little bit lower. Let's watch out for these futures. I'm not going to get into it, but I don't mind NIO at these levels. I'm going to wait for 38.60, but watch out for that 38.50 in case that happens before we come back. But it's Money Talks time. One of my favorite segments, if they're not all my favorite. Over to Brendan at the big screen.
Hey guys, yeah, quick look at currency markets heading into the weekend here. Pretty quiet overall. You can see the US dollar top of the board here. Dead flat, really not doing much today, so a lot of these going to be little change. The Canadian dollar is higher to end the week, 0.35. You can see there was a couple of economic numbers out this morning in the pre-market there for our country, which were better than expected. So back to 79.25 for the CAD versus the US dollar. The euro basically flat, British pound to the upside, Japanese yen, Swiss franc not doing much, as I mentioned. New Zealand and Australia both higher. There was talk about more stimulus in Australia and New Zealand as well this week, so both have been on a bit of a tear for those countries. Crypto's at the bottom here, back in negative territory. Ethereum leading the way today, 5% to the downside, but they're still holding decent levels. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Brendan. Ethereum actually holding a key level, it seems like to me, like right around that 32, actually a little bit lower than that, like 32.20, 3,200. We're just above that price right now by like, $30 or so. You want to get to Endo just quickly here. It did turn at 350. I mean, I see a spike up to that price. Realistically, most of the volume, 330 here, going to be your top. The sellers aren't in control. Well, I mean, they're trying to get in control, but there may not be until they get a hold below 3 even. I like 275 for an out on a short. I don't know why I wasn't looking reverse at 275. As I look, always review your notes. Like I looked at this level and I said 275 was going to be the key, which a lot of times means it's a pretty good reverse. And when it breaks like this, and then on the pullback holds to a dime, like this level here, it's like if I was going short at 260 for a reason in front of that pre-market low, and that's exactly where it turns around. Well, hey, sometimes those levels matter, and when it turns at that price, I should be looking for a long entry anywhere there or back at 275 even. Doesn't happen. DD, which is still working, just keep in mind, like this, it's gonna bounce. And I can't say this over and over again. It's a great level in the higher time frame, and the reason why I think it makes sense and why I'm sort of doing it, you take it 5, 6, 7 cents out, you take 10, 11, 12 out, is just because it's turned into a scalp trade off of a big 880 level where there's going to be a lot of people sort of taking shares out and slowing up the move. You do want to hold on to something. If this market can get back to the upside, some of the Chinese names maybe catch a bit of a bid, although hopefully I'm out of Baidu by that point. To the short side, then there's a decent chance you're getting back to 9 and then testing higher. But really, this is more of a scalp off of that level down there, and that's why we're taking it up more aggressively for smaller wins on DI, that's DD.
Yeah, and we only have one position here into the close, so in the close of the show, of course, and that's going to be Alibaba. And I'm debating taking another piece out right here at 170. The market's starting to run now, though, so that's leading me. Okay, like I just talked about it now. Okay, what's happened? Something's just maybe just come out right now, actually, on Alibaba. I got to cancel and get out. Alibaba that happened literally.
Yeah, Baidu just spiked to the bottom again.
Right in front of our face. Right here, something just came out. So we're going to get out there. We're just going to talk about getting out higher, but there it goes. It cracks to the downside. 168 breaks. I don't know what just happened, but Alibaba just cracked. I'm going to go long until we find out. Maybe not.
No, look at
what happened. Yeah, just tank city right now. Stay away from all Chinese names. I don't know what's happening. There goes NIO. NIO, you talked about one there as well. That happened live right here on Trader TV Live. So we got in and we got out right there quickly, averaging at 169. I'm not sure what just happened there, but it's a flush.
Yeah, I mean...
China trade probe into Biden pressuring Beijing. Not good.
Yeah, so I mean, this is one of those situations where I was already in the short. Now it's just a matter of holding it. DD, I'm already at that stop because there's a big buy that's still there at 879, but it was barcoding on Baidu on that short trade that we had on the random one, and then it broke the low. Again, it breaks this 166 low and turns right back around. So I'm not going to do any adjusting. Well, actually, I should be. I'm going to move my stop down to 167 even, which would make some sense there. Because if it bounces higher after that spike down, I'm not giving up that much, guys. I want to make sure that we take an even smaller loss on that trade. But the market spiked down. It's recovering a little bit, as you can see here.
I just got
gapping back up, guys. But that was kind of a crazy, like, the bid just essentially dropped on all the Chinese names that I was watching as that news hit the wire.
I mean, we just took 50 cents backside right there. Now we're going to now we're laughing. Now we're 55 cents in the money. We did, so this is going to look a little bit crazy because you're not going to be able to tell what I did, but we were long there. We took out the money there. We didn't take it all out. We took only out 1/3, so that was bad. And then 169 came. We got hit on that. We got railroaded to the downside. And then we got punched out at 168.60 or so. And then I just went right back long that same price and then just took 50 cents there on that win. So 168.60 out, 169.12. And now we'll just wait. Maybe the story's not as bad as that move was there. And again, we're still up on the day for Alibaba. So hey, let's hopefully play that flush out here and see if we have it. So it's not going to be, I mean, we're still fine on the name and we didn't lose that much at all, especially because we made some back there, which was good. But we did take a hit there on that. And again, sometimes it's just bad luck. Like Neil's in the short.
I just got so lucky right now.
That's great luck. And then for me, that was a little bit of bad luck. But that's trading, right? If you're exposed in the market, you are open to any kind of move like that. But there we go, man. I'm just surprised that Biden and China and all that. Like, why do we have to even do this? They should be able to come up with some kind of a
and you talk about shocking the market. So like, remember that buyer at DD? The simple fact that like the bid just dropped and the buyer was still there at 79. It just immediately recovered. Like when all those names recovered, like Baidu went from like in the money like a dollar to right back to almost flat. DD comes right back, and because I was already sitting on the offer, I'm just getting those 89s and 90s almost instantly. Like, I didn't have to do anything. I look back, I'm like, why am I not still in DD? Why do I only have like a fraction of it left, like 10% left? Because it did spike right up into those tops. So that was like whipsaw action. You take advantage of it if you had orders out. If I had bids out on Baidu, I obviously would have been covering those, but it doesn't really make a difference at this particular point. Things have definitely settled down here. We're only 90 seconds away, 11 o'clock, and Memes and Movers is on tap. Plenty moving in the market if you haven't noticed for a Friday.
In the money right now, guys.
End of the day, though, still we're holding on to positive, at least for the NASDAQ is, but the ES is already negative here. Miss V.
Let's go. Boom.
Hey guys, thank you very much for spending this trading week with us. I hope you're doing great and profitable. We'll see you in a few minutes with Prod. Guys, have a wonderful rest of the day and happy National TV Dinner Day.
You know, I mean, I would say normally hard pass, but what is that, turkey with cranberry or something? I don't know.
That's Salisbury steak, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know what. No, it looks like cranberries there, I would say. I don't know what the middle. Well, I know what the steak would be, but I think that might be turkey. But I don't. Who knows? Who cares? But TV dinner's a good
if that's
choice.
Cranberry, it doesn't look very good.
Make sure it's a healthy one. I mean, there's a lot of TV dinners out there that are bad for you. But hey, if you're in a bind, I don't mind the TV dinner. Thank God I have a wife that cooks her face off all the time. So that's very, very good for us, obviously.
I can't get on board with TV dinners.
Yeah, yesterday we had chicken wings, and then she made this sick homemade guacamole, which was unbelievable. Oh yeah, that's right, dusted Cajun or something today. Chicken wings. So that, but I mean, it was also Monday Night Football. So that's a good one. Look at Alibaba.
Opening night football, you mean?
Yeah, opening. I actually called it Monday Night Football yesterday as well. Opening night football. What a good game that was last night. Hopefully you guys were able to see some of that. But Alibaba, we just took the last piece out there at 169.50 off that. So we took 80 cents to the backside right now, and now we'll clean that up and just wait to see what other opportunities will come to us in the afternoon, guys.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, we are back. Look, the week isn't over yet because you got Memes and Movers in seconds, and then we're back at 3 o'clock for obviously a power hour, which should be fantastic given the way the market's moving already. But for the time being, everybody, we're going to throw you directly to Trader Pratt and Ms. V. Lots moving. It's Memes and Movers time.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's me, Trader Pratt. I got the beautiful Miss V here.
Hi guys, welcome back to Memes and Movers, everyone. Neil is absolutely right. So many names are moving today. Please be active on the chat. Ask us anything. Write what you trade today. And of course, don't forget to like this video. All right,